Want to talk about propaganda against Black women. Today's Sunday, and today is Sunday morning. And the first thing I wake up to see is a picture of Krishan Rock on a live and someone asking why Black women are very masculine, showing a picture of Krishan Rock. And that to me is wild because how is Krishan Rock a representative of the collective of Black women? Dare I say it, I don't believe that Krishan Rock, good morning, supervillain. I don't believe that Krishan Rock is representative of the collective of Black women at all. First of all, Krishan Rock was pregnant, drinking, smoking, with a baby in her stomach, which is insane. I don't think the majority of Black women behave like that. I don't think the majority of Black women would get a tattoo of a man on their neck, huge of their face, which is the craziest thing ever, and then cover that up and then get an even larger picture of a man that has not claimed you, has not married you, has only disrespected you, cheated on you, ripped a chunk of your hair out of the back of your head and get that man's face tattooed on your face. Insanity. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea why Black men would want to make Krishan Rock the representative of Black women when if you try to say that the representative of Black men is some type of uneducated, criminal, baby mama making individual, then Black men would say that you're being racist. Oh, why would you compare the Black man like that? Aren't there so many other versions of Black men we can talk about? Can we talk about intelligent Black men or Black men that went to school or whatever the case may be? I have no idea, honestly, why it is okay to stereotype Black women, to destroy the image of Black women, act like that's okay. And Black men do that, but they would not want that same energy returned to them. You know what I'm saying? I find that to be absolutely crazy. That it's okay to come on this app every day and bash Black women and stereotype Black women and call them masculine and call them mean and call them angry and all of these things. Black men do that. And I wish that they would understand that the people that are stereotyped the most, that will suffer the most out of that, even though Black women suffer from stereotypes, Black men will suffer the most by them pushing these constant harmful narratives about Black women and Black people in general. I wish that Black men will understand that. But that's what I wanted to talk about today. That I will be doggone if I see Black men make Krishan Rock the standard the standard as to which Black women are judged and looked at their like. Be for real. So the topics today are, number one, why do Black women have the reputation of being angry and masculine? Now, of course, the white tea men started a lot of these things, but right now, the people that are the advocates of that the most are Black men. And in my opinion, it is propaganda that Black men spread out about Black women being angry and masculine, and it's merely projection because I always like to have fact-based conversations, and if you look at the statistics, if you look at the state of the Black community, if you look at who's doing what, who's being the most angry, who's being the most violent, who's doing the most things in the Black community, it certainly isn't Black women. So exactly what it is. And I don't believe in calling Black women masculine because they take care of themselves and they take care of their families. And they don't want a man playing in their face, which are all reasons that men weaponize and call a woman masculine, a Black woman specifically. Number two, I wanted to talk about Black men being the most violent to the women in their communities and each other statistically, yet we'll have so many lives demonizing Black women for the most pettiest and stupid things. I see lives going on about Black women in weaves, Black women in lace wigs, Black women in lashes, Black women and what their choices in careers are and all of these things. Yet we're not talking about the very, very, very important things: the violence, the criminality, the abuse, the femicide that the men in our community bring. I have no idea why these same men never talk about that, but are quick to demonize black women. Number 3, I wanted to talk about, I want black women to understand that they don't need to internalize any of these things that they hear, black men speak of, because the things that the collective of black men say about black women are pure projection. It is how they see themselves, and they don't want to see themselves like that. So they need to pass that idea of themselves onto someone. And the only person that can get that to happen, or that can happen to with nobody saying anything, are black women. Just like you hear, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is my journey. Just like you hear, oh, black women, y'all are emotional. Y'all are emotional. Women are emotional. Women are emotional. Actually, men are emotional. Actually, black men are the most emotional. If they get in their feelings, if they get upset, if they get broken up with, what's the first thing they're doing? They're going to find the nearest weapon to put somebody in the dirt. I can't tell you that that is the most emotional that you can possibly be. But however, for some reason, women who have far more self-control are considered to be emotional. And it doesn't make any sense. Number 4, I think a lot of this, for it to stop, when it comes to the state of the black community, black women have got to stop sharing in the responsibility of what is going on. I just had a debate with somebody, and I didn't even mean to have it, a non-black person, about the black community. And they were talking about, the black community, it's so much crime there. People are selling hard candy. People are unaliving each other. That's what black people do. I said, excuse me, statistically, who are doing those things? Is it black women? Well, no, but okay, then shut up. Because I don't believe that black women should share in the responsibility for the state of the black community and the things that are going on. I don't. I do not believe that. And it's not fair, because anytime anything is perceived to be wrong about black women, you know what I'm saying? No one wants to share and take some of the heat off of black women. Never. So when people are calling black women masculine and calling them baby mamas and single mothers, you never hear black men stand up and say, hey, you know what? It's because we're leaving these women. These women intended on having families with us, but we left them. And so they have no choice but to be single mothers. So we can't blame them for what we're creating. No, you never hear that. You never hear them share in the responsibility in anything that is negative to be perceived about black women. However, black women share in the responsibility of the state of the black community all the time when people say, black people, look at black people unaliving each other. Look at black people robbing. Look at black people doing this, that, and the third. When it's not black people, it's black men. I want black women to stop doing that. Number 5, how are black women pushing black men away due to their so-called masculinity when so-called feminine non-black women get the same treatment? So a lot of times, black men will call black women masculine and say, this is why we're leaving. This is why we're not in the homes. It's all on y'all. But why, if that's the case, why is it that when you go to other races of women, you give them the same treatment? You leave them alone. You make them single mothers. You disappear. You dip out on them. And all of those things. Okay, let's see here. Doran, let me look at what Doran says. Doran here says, black women defend other black women that behave badly. That's why they have that reputation. Lies, lies, lies. Nobody gets defended. Black women are the first to get on the chopping block. It's so many black women that are quick to say, oh no, please stop it. Please, please, please. And nobody defends nonsense like a black man. Look at you. You came here to say something about black women looking like a whole thug. Looking like I would have to clutch my purse if I saw you outside. Looking like if you was in the elevator with me, I would have my hand on the blicky in my crossbody bag, honestly. Like, that's exactly what I'm saying. And this idea of black men being completely delusional about what type of man they are and also what they portray and represent is also scary and strange. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to show y'all for the people that will see this live later. Y'all need to see what this man look like. Hold on. For the people that will see this live later, y'all need to see what this man look like. Hold on. Like, let me show y'all this. Y'all see this man? This man right here. This man right here is the one that said, does this man look like he would have a shiesty mask on and steal your purse? Absolutely. Does he look like he would, bust out your window and rifle through your console for change and coins and dollar bills? Absolutely. Absolutely. Does he look like if you had a son that was walking home from school that he would ask him to take off his shoes and give them to him? Absolutely. You see those dead, lifeless eyes? Like, honestly, those type of black men are always the ones that you stay away from. The ones with the dead, lifeless, senpaku eyes. Because those are the ones, if you notice, when they commit crimes and you see their mug shots, their eyes are always dead and lifeless, just like that. Have y'all noticed that? And if y'all don't believe me, just go look up, like, some crimes, right? Like, look up, like, black men unaliving. You know what I'm saying? Or young black men unaliving. And then go and look at their mugshots. They all have those same eyes like Duran. You know what I'm saying? Like, always dead, lifeless eyes. Look like he got a probation officer. Yes, they do. And my thing is this, is that, let me block Duran real quick, though. He got to get blocked. Hold on. Yeah, like I was saying, I have blocked him, y'all, because, when the men get tore up, they want to report. It already just said that one of the comments got filtered. So that means he said something crazy. But like I was saying, those are the type of men that have the most to say about black women. The black men that are no good at all. And I blame black men, of course, for this, but I also blame black women. Because Duran that was up here, I can guarantee you his black mama, his black sister, somebody has enabled him to live in this delusion and also make him feel like it's okay to disrespect black women online like he just did. But anyway, if anybody wants to get in the box and you want to have this conversation, you're more than welcome to send me a request and I'll add you up. But I'll just say, me personally, I'm really tired of black men trying to put this reputation of being angry and masculine onto black women. I'm tired of it. Super duper 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 tired of it. Because when white tea women asked them where they at, oh, thank you so much, babe. When white tea women ask black men where they at, and oh, you're not supposed to be here, and call the police and act a fool. Okay. And nobody ever says anything to white tea women. Nobody calls them masculine. Nobody calls them angry when they over there bothering somebody for no reason. Nobody say nothing about that. I done seen several videos of white tea women that are in relationships with black men, sleeping with black men, laid up with black men, calling them the N-word with the hard R when they're mad. I never seen these black men get nowhere and say, oh, I don't know why these white tea women are angry and masculine. No, they're still beautiful, dainty flowers, even though they weaponize the police and everything else against you. That to me is super duper duper problematic, and at some point you've got to understand that the reason why black men are putting this reputation of angry and masculinity onto you is because, in my opinion, black men don't want you, the collective, not every black man don't want you, but they don't want anyone else to either. They want you to feel completely desperate and dependent on them and their attention. So they want to ruin and degrade your image in front of the whole world to make you feel like, oh, well, this black man, he talking to me. They're the only ones for us. No, they're not only, they're destroying your image, if that makes sense at all. But yeah, so number one, why do black women have the reputation of being angry and masculine? My thoughts is it's the propaganda of black men. They spread this propaganda every single solitary day. I mean, like I said, I just got onto TikTok and saw black men and dumb black women too having a discussion about Krishan Rock and trying to compare her and make her like she's she is representative of the collective of black women. In what world is Krishan Rock representing black women? I say the majority of black women would not, even though we're not perfect, we have our flaws. The majority of black women are not acting like Krishan Rock. Be for real. Let's stop that PS right now. Number two, black men are the most violent to the women in their community and to each other. Yet, constantly we're demonizing black women and acting like they're the problem in the black community and ruining everything. And I don't want to hear, oh, black women are raising these sons. Black women. When you get older, your choices are your choices. If you have an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old son, you can't stop them from doing whatever they doing. You cannot. That's on them. And nobody ever talks about the fact that the majority of black boys are not listening to their mothers. They're not. They're listening to other criminal knuckleheads that are telling them to do these things. It's not the mother's fault. The majority of the time, black women are telling their sons, go to school, go to school, go to school. Stay out the streets, stay out the streets, stay out the streets. Don't be having intercourse with these girls and getting them pregnant. The boys just aren't listening. So I have no idea why we're giving black boys and black men grace to do crazy things and putting it on their mama. Because Lord knows that when y'all out here talking about weaves and wigs and lashes and masculinity of black women, y'all don't never put that on the daddies and say, oh, these fathers wasn't with these girls. It's all our fault. In no scenario do black men take accountability for anything. Anything, literally anything. And no matter what goes on in the black community, they're going to find a way to blame the black woman. Period. They're going to, if it's a black girl's fault, blame the black woman. If it's a black woman, they feel like it's her fault, blame the black woman. If it's a black man's fault, blame the black woman. If it's a black boy's fault, blame the black woman. If it's a white tea woman's fault, blame the black woman. It doesn't matter what it is. Black men are going to find some way to blame black women. Literally, you see black men commit black femicide and literally unalive black women that were tired of being abused, or they were tired of being raped and they try to escape and they find still some way to blame those women. Do y'all remember that black woman, she just got released, where she found out her husband was molesting the kids at the daycare? And she went and pew-pewed that man. Do you know how many black men I saw blaming her? Blaming her for that man's sickness? Huh? You know what I'm saying? So that should tell you right there how sick the black community is. And excuse me, I'm eating, y'all. That should scare you. That really should. That should scare you. Let me see. Ryan Rose says, we just saw a BM unalive his wife on live, because she corrected the lies that he was previously telling. Let me tell you something, Ryan. You are completely right. But I'm going to tell you, I saw 2 videos from that man's brother that sat there knowing that his brother had unalived that lady And he said that they were in love. He said that my brother really loved her. Your brother was on live telling that lady, yes, I beat you up. Yeah, I beat you up. And she was saying, you was pulling my hair. You was pulling my hair and this, that, and the third. This man said, you want to fight right now. Let's fight right now. Let me show you that I can beat you up. What type of man challenges a woman to a fight like she's a grown man? Not only that, but she just had your baby like 4 months ago. Crazy, crazy. But yet, this man's black brother came over there trying to defend him. Imagine if that black woman had unalived that black man. His brother wouldn't have nothing positive to say. Nothing positive to say. And what's even sadder is there were so many black women saying, oh, she shouldn't have antagonized him or whatever. And my thing is that the only mistake I feel like she made is the first time he put his hands on her, she should have left. But a lot of times, black women have been brainwashed to feel like toxicity is love. And nobody ever talks about that because in the black community, that's the only thing that's ever shown to black women. And if you don't have a proper, I'd say like a proper mentor, a black woman that's telling you, hey, that's not the way to be. That's exactly what you begin to be is normal. You got all of these Tubi movies where all the dudes are cheaters, abusive, doing all these things to black women. You had all of these movies where that's all they ever show black women is that, oh, a black man is going to beat you. A black man is not going to take care of you. A black man is going to do this, that, and the third, but his presence is okay. Just him being around is okay, and you should be thankful for that. And that's a good relationship for a black woman. What movies do they show where black men cater to black women, love black women, uplift black women, don't cheat on black women, don't beat the brakes off black women? You know what I'm saying? Nobody. So, anywho, it's just like, I don't know. It's just crazy to me. If anybody wants to get in the live, though, sorry, y'all, I'm eating. If y'all want to get in the live, please send me a request. And just right now, because I'm about to do a review on it, I hate Tyler Perry. I hate Tyler Perry. I hate Tyler Perry. Now, I am looking at a show on BET Plus right now called Divorced Sisters with LaToya Luckett from Destiny Child. And it's got old girl, what's her name? She's married to DeVal. I forgot that man. What's her name? She's married to DeVal. I forgot that man's last name. But he plays on Zatima. And also he plays Zach on Sisters as well. DeVal? Yeah, DeVal, whatever. Yeah, DeVal. Tyler Perry. The movie, the thing started off every black woman being treated bad by her husband. Except one of them. And she has cheated on her husband. And she about to blow up her whole life. You know what I'm saying? Clearly. And my thing is, wow, you start this off, no positive, none of the husbands are loving their wives, treat them with respect, none of them. And to me, that's crazy. Because at some point, Tyler Perry has to think, what is going on? Are these the messages that I'm sending black women? But go ahead, Kalandra.
I was just saying up to your first prompt. I think that black women get that stereotype from like racism, and that I think it was passed down into our communities because we're the most unprotected. I feel like the problem with black women is that why we feel the need to protect black men is because of, like you said, we're passed down to us from our grandmothers. Because the problem is that when you feel like the white T man is your biggest enemy, and like for example, like even with the Diddy trial, oh y'all want these men to go to jail, oh y'all want these men to go to clean them. I think the problem also with black women is that I think a lot of us be pitmishas. Also with black women is that I think a lot of us be pitmishas, and we don't raise our sons to be decent men because we so busy worried about making sure that he's not liking. We don't raise our sons to be good men. Like, you know what I'm saying? You always hear about women raising their sons to not be feminine. But what are you doing to raise your son to make sure he not in that red pill stuff, making sure he not putting his hands on women? What are you doing in that? So to the point that you don't have to end up like DDG Mama, where you writing statements to the judge about what this girl did, but you don't have nothing to say about what your son did. And then I just think the problem is women, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this. I think a black woman started the term bitter baby mama, and I think they started the term fast little girl to try to justify dang trash men. And I think the problem with a lot of women is when you so busy, when you don't want to be alone and you want to do whatever to keep a man, you're going to do whatever to keep that man right there. But that's all I had to say for right now.
All right. Appreciate you, Kalandra. I definitely think that in the black community we do have a serious problem with black women being, pick niches, unfortunately, because the live that I was just telling y'all about that made me do this live, where they were saying they were comparing Krishan Rock and making it seem like Krishan Rock is like representative of the majority of black women. It was black women on there talking, hey, Miss Chrissy, baby, talking about it. And I'm like, you're a black woman. You really want to be compared to Krishan Rock? I'm sorry. People can say this is discriminatory or not. But I have to say it. I don't ever want to be compared to Krishan Rock. Ever. I would never be so goofy. Like, I don't care what nobody talking about. That lady is a goofy, and that lady also weaponizes Jesus Christ and all that fake stuff, that fake Christian stuff she got going. Always talking about some, oh Lord, I praise you. The next day, she over there, you know what I'm saying, bouncing on top of somebody. Like, I cannot respect that lady at all. I can't respect nobody that would smoke and drink, do illegal substances and drink while they got a baby in their stomach. Y'all could be mad. I don't respect that. You're not a woman. You're not a good person. And her ignorance, always wanting to fight people and do things. No, that's not representative of no black woman I know. None. Okay? And I'm not saying that, you have to be a sucker, or if somebody put their hands on you, you have to sit there and take it. But the majority of black women do not act or behave that way. And it's nothing that y'all can get me to do to believe it. The majority of black women not about to get no man's face tattooed on their neck and on they cheek. No, I do not believe that. And and it's crazy because they pick the worst people to represent. Even though if we look at statistically, it would be way more logical to attribute these negative things to black men than black women. As I said before, these things are very easily researched. As I say plenty of times, black women's incarceration rate has decreased since the early 2000s. White tea women are incarcerated more than black women. Black women are the most educated group here in America. And people always want to say like, oh, it's their enrollment. It's not completion. It's completion too, baby. So my thing is I have no idea why black men feel so quick to come on and talk about the state of black women when they can't compare statistically at all, like on any level. Not on criminality, not on the justice system, not on education, not on how they treat each other. I just don't understand it at all. Period. It makes no sense. Congratulations, Kalandra, for working on your master's, sis. You got this. Miss Chrissy Baby just said in the comments that black women hold 60% of master's degrees. And my thing is it makes me very upset how people play on black women's top, honestly. But I say this a million times as well. This is the reason why black women do achieve. This is the reason why black women do things, because nobody coddles black women or holds their hand and makes excuses for them. It's either fly or unalive. That's really it for black women. Fly or unalive. There's no in between. You get what I'm saying? But we make all of these excuses for black men. Oh, sister, he can't help it. He can't help it. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's his mama's fault. It's his mama's fault. Yeah, I know he just got pew-pewed and he was on the way to pew-pew up 18 people, but we got to get justice for him. No, we don't. No, we don't. Like I said, I remember also reading a story of a black girl, young black woman. I think she was like 23. She told a young man that she did not want to see him no more. She said, I don't want to talk to you no more. He came to her house and she was about to go to work. He asked her, hey, I'm asking you one more time. Are you going to take me back? She said no. This man pulled out a pew-pew and lit her up in her back like 16 times, emptied the whole clip into her, and unalived her right in front of her daddy. Now, because she lived with her father, when they got this man says the only thing I regret is that I didn't unalive her daddy too. Now, these things happen every single day in regards to black men. But for some reason, y'all out here calling black women aggressive and masculine and violent and all of these things because of Krishan Rock. When the Krishan Rocks make up probably about 2% of black women, really and truly, that are that delusional and insane. Like, I really just don't even know what to say. Like, now we know, well, if you don't know, white tea people will always say that black people commit the most crime. They don't. White tea people actually commit the most crime. All of them. But they'll always bring up like per capita this, per capita that. The only thing that black people lead in, and it's not black people, is black men. It's the unalivings of each other. And the unalivings of each other, I think it's like 3% or something higher than white tea men. But y'all can fact check me on that because I haven't looked that up in a while. Because I really don't care. Most black people know, and most people know that that's the only point that is higher. Now, I don't hear, even with all of these stats and numbers, black women aren't involved in any of these things. Sorry, you guys, I'm eating. But like I said, black women aren't involved in any of these things, yet we're still always blamed. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And that's the reason why I really truly feel like until we stand up as black women and really, I don't want to say throw black men under the bus, but until we really make a stand and say, hey, you have to stop attributing these things to us. It's not us, it's them. Every time, then we're not going to get anywhere. I really truly believe that this whole like black community thing, now we're black men, we're black women, we're halves of each other because we're black people. And that can never change. But I do believe that this sharing in the worst of what the black community has to offer, which is black men's doing, we've got to stop sharing in that. We've got to stop sharing in that. We have to. Oh, go ahead, sis.
No, I'm saying like, what do you mean?
When what I mean is like when sharing is like, like I know I've had debates with white people. And this was like back in the day, more so, because I don't debate with white people no more. Because I know that they don't care and it's a waste of my breath to try to explain to them. But back in the day, when they would talk about like black people are the most violent. black people are committing crimes, black people are robbing, black people are doing this, that, and the third. I will sit there and debate with them about numbers and tell them, like, hey, if you look at this statistically, it's actually white people that commit the most. And white teen men a lead by far so high in child predating, touching kids. They're the number one most demographic of touching their own children and all of these things. And I would say also unaliving. Most of the time when a white teen person is unalive, they're unalived by each other. And it's like, I think it's like 47% of unalivings in the United States are done by white teen people and a whole bunch of other stuff. And they would tell fire back at, and tell me about incarceration rates and all of these things. But all of the things that they would always tell me would only apply to black men. It would never apply to black women. And I never took the time to tell them, why are you telling me this? Why are you not arguing with a black man? Because I'm a black woman and we don't do this. We just say the black community, the black community, the black community. And I think that we got to stop doing it. Because, and I say this a lot, anytime there's something positive that black men can brag and say about themselves, they make sure that they say, not you, black woman. This is us. This is us. Not y'all. Not y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just how they'll run around talking about they're the most desired man. They always make sure they tell black women it's not you. Nobody wants you, nappy head. Nobody wants you. Nobody wants you, big nose. Nobody wants you. This is us, they like. So I don't, excuse me, understand why more black women don't say, hey, we ain't doing none of this stuff y'all talking about. It's y'all. Y'all don't want to do it at all. You know what I'm saying, Calandra?
Understand what you're saying. Because they do be on these apps saying that. And it's
Yeah.
like blame us for them.
Yeah.
Because I was on the live the other night. They were talking about why black males falling behind academically. And everybody blame single moms. So
That's crazy. And this crazy thing is that I have no idea why wouldn't they blame the culture that black men have created, which is the idea that going to school is not cool. What's cool is being outside with your pants hanging down, wearing a shiesty mask, and living a thug life. That's what's glorified every single day to young black men. They don't think that that's a problem, because I can guarantee you that your single mama is telling your butt to go to school and you're not listening. You're listening to other black boys and you're listening to other degenerate black men in the community. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And that's the reason why, like I said, black men will never be able to improve, because of no matter what they do, they don't take any type of accountability or ownership for their actions. The only person that's responsible is a woman, is a black woman, or the white man.
and then I was in another live and I literally had to leave because I'm like, you can't be for real. They were saying that government assistance is the reason why we're in baby mama culture, because women were putting the men out to get government assistance. And I was like, you got to be a different level of delusional. If you think a woman is putting a man who has the potential to make way more money out for $200 or even $500 in food, so like, you have to be a different level of delusional. And maybe you should go get some tests done on your brain. Damn.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. And when you think about that right there, that's so true. And if you look at discussions, they have them on YouTube, like from the 70s and the 60s, where they talk about like government assistance. Do you know how many black men were saying that, first of all, they were sneaking? They were still there. That's number one. They weren't kicked out. They would just, some of them would pretend not to be there. But black women weren't kicking these men out. And then there were other instances where the men were not there. The men weren't there because they didn't want to work. They didn't want to provide. They didn't want to take care of a family. I remember I seen this one, and I'm sure you could easily find it on TikTok. It was from the 70s, and this black man said, I need the government to take care of that so she can have this for the kids, because I ain't going to be doing that much. I'm like, you ain't going to be doing that much. You made all these babies. And this woman is like saying that she do like.
Some were on welfare, and they were all on welfare.
You said in there?
know what I'm saying? Like, I think I know what document I had saw. I don't know you were talking about. This one was a documentary just made. He had all these kids, and all of the baby mamas was on welfare, and the man was like, "Are you gonna get a job? Are you talking about that one?" I
I
think
think
the
that
guy was. It was a. I think maybe he was a light skinned.
mm,
I know he had a lot of baby mamas though, and they were all on welfare.
that's ridiculous. Because the guy that I'm talking about only had one baby mama and a lot of kids. That's terrible that you saw another one. Yeah, like this is crazy.
I'm telling you, he had like a few baby mamas. It was based in the 70s. They were all on welfare. And when they were asking him, why did you keep having all these children and no job? He basically looked at the man like he had three heads. When he asked him why he had all them kids and no job.
Disgusting. Let me go down here and let everybody speak. I'm gonna go down here to Miss Chrissy baby and then Coach T.
Good morning, triggered and ladies.
Hey sis.
I'm born in 1979 and I grew up in an urban environment, and most of my peers' fathers abandoned them. And it actually doesn't matter the socioeconomic situation or this. My father was a computer programmer in the 80s, and he had multiple families and left us. And that's why we were in poverty. So, and that was my observation all around. And I'm sure it was like that for most people in the 80s. Either they were just making multiple families or their father was in the streets doing, candy sales or whatever. So it's just kind of frustrating being an 80s kid and seeing how people are rewriting history, because that was the reality back then. Like, most mothers were single mothers raising kids by themselves in a recession. So, and the other thing I wanted to say is it's exhausting. I'm in a career where it's 0.05% or 0.01% Black women in it. And I feel like our counterparts put out so much misinformation and disrespect that it's almost like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, oh, you're not like that? How did you get here? And because of the numbers also, due to this, aviationists have extreme racism in general. It's just always hard climbing up a hill that you're just always going to slide down and keep climbing and slide down. And I'm at the point where I'm just exhausted. I'm exhausted of those lives of, oh, everything is bad because of single mothers. You guys don't want to marry us. I was in the military. Everybody wanted to marry somebody that was not Black, but have a Black girl as the side chick. Like, I remember these times. And I think now there's so much more visceral attacks on us because I think Black women are finally expressing, we're tired. We don't want to coddle anymore. We don't want to have everybody's back, and literally no one's has our back. I'm literally seeing videos on TikTok now of women with 4C hair. Remember, everyone wanted Black women, why don't you wear your natural hair, of being made fun of and disrespected and called bald head and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. So what kind of natural hair were you guys talking about? And I'm like, were you just wanting their hair to be like that so now you can publicly shame them online? It's just, I'm exhausted. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm exhausted because it's not just online. It's just in my real personal life for 45 years observing the evolution of where we are today. And I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you about it all, and definitely agree with you about the other families and things like that. Because even with my grandma, who my grandparents, and they passed like I think my grandfather was like 93, and my grandmother was like 91. They passed like a couple years ago after being married. I think they got married at like 19 or something like that. So they were married a long, long, long time till they died. And I remember my grandmother and them telling me a story that my grandfather, and keep in mind, this was back in the like, I think late 40s. Yeah, late 40s. But keep in mind, I said late 1940s. This man had my grandma pregnant and another woman. And my grandma always tell the story bragging and saying that, hey, you know what? Your grandpa had to choose me because he got me pregnant first. So I said, you, and they were pregnant at the same time. And she said, he got me pregnant first, so he had to marry me. And she just had to just gone about her business. And the kid that he had with the other lady, apparently, my mom said, you know, back when I used to talk to her, they didn't really talk to her like that. She was really just pretty much not really, you know, interacted with often. They saw her a few times, infrequently. Now, that is crazy. So all of this romanticizing of the black man needs to stop because the black man been disloyal. Like, been running the streets, been sexually undisciplined. This is nothing new. Like, and it's crazy that for some reason, it's still put on the black woman and not the black man. And I said, they don't, like I said, black men don't take responsibility for nothing. But I do believe that black women also help it by not calling it out, by making excuses for them, by sharing in it. Like I was telling Kalandra earlier, people talk about the state of the black community, black women going in and saying, oh, well, we don't do this and that. No, you make sure that you let them know that that's black men. Like I said, but let me go down here to Coach C. Go ahead, Coach C. Hey, sis. Good morning.
Hey, Trigger. Good morning. How are you? It's good to catch you. I'm finally can join, girl. They've been working on
Yay.
this job. Sickening. And getting these kids ready for the summer. But that's perfect. You brought up the perfect segue to what I wanted to come up and talk about is that this behavior that they're displaying is not new. Like they've been doing this. We could take it back to the 60s and 70s. We could take it back to the Great Migration, where a lot of our families come from the deep rural South. That's where my family comes from, where men were saying, oh, I'm going to go up north to find work, and then just disappeared, never to be heard from ever again, or to play in and out and show up when they feel like it and send money when they feel like it, and leaving our ancestors and grandmothers and great grandmothers and aunts to figure it out on their own in a deep rural South where they just came from, knowing these people is still down here with ropes and trees that they want to put us in and still is violating us in every which way possible. They just left us for unaliving. They sacrificed us for their own well-being. They came up north and said, good luck, y'all. We'll see y'all another time. But even we can go back to even before that, where I've learned about how the black men in Africa was selling black women into the slave trade, or black kings, or I don't know how, like they noble people, the royalty was selling their daughters to marriage to white men that was coming over there. And that's how they ended up being able to take over whole dynasties, because the black men was marrying their daughters and sisters and everybody else off to these white men and passing off the legacy and the culture off over into the white culture. Even back to the Moors, where they went over to Europe and found a bunch of white women in caves, dirty and destitute, and started dumping their sperm in them. So this is not a new behavior for them. And I'm glad that black women, we're finally telling our story. That's why it's so important for us to tell our stories. I just made a video about this on my page about listening to men talk. And when you hear men speaking, even if they say that they're talking to you, or they give you a piece of advice, or they're saying women should know that, always understand that as women, we need to tell our stories. We need to center ourselves in our own experiences. We need to be the ones talking about this stuff, because those documentaries that y'all talked about, it's women in there saying, this is my experience. And then the men is in there saying, this is my experience. And sometimes they don't align. These are two people in the same relationship, having the same type of, I can't even say the same lifestyle. They're in the same relationship. They have a child together, and the woman is having one experience and the man is having a completely different experience. So these men, they time is up. Like, black men, y'all time is up. Y'all can no longer use us as a scapegoat, and y'all can no longer use us as a co-conspirator to y'all bullshit. Excuse my language, to y'all BS. It's time up. Like, the time has ran out. And since y'all want to propagandize and use a bunch of negative talking points, what Kendrick Lamar say? So don't tell lies about me, and I won't tell truths about you. We don't have to lie on y'all. All we have to do is say what our truth is and what our experiences have been of y'all of y'all abandoning us, or the type of demoralizing behaviors and the type of degeneracy that y'all engage in when y'all are around, from running through the girls in the family and abusing them. We can talk about y'all. Since y'all want to be running the streets and spreading lies and misinformation about us, all we have to do is tell the truth about y'all. And y'all really should have just kept y'all mouths closed. So since y'all want to be running y'all mouths, Black women, we're going to tell our stories and tell our truths. And we can talk about and tell our narratives. If Black men is the most involved fathers, Black women, we're the most involved mothers. And we are. And that's the truth. So stop let them tell their lies. You don't even have to disprove their lies. Just tell your truth. And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with everything that you said, Coach T, wholeheartedly. I would say if and I think I'm gonna do this, y'all, for like just a social experiment. But if I just sat up here and I didn't say anything negative, right? I just got a lot of the statistics that are surrounding Black men and put them up on the screen, like their incarceration rates, their rates of enrollment in school, their literacy rates, the rates at which they unalive themselves, and also at the rates which they unalive women and children, what they do to the communities that they are in as far as terrorizing them with crimes, robbing, and all of that stuff. Just like that same, I saw a video of a 3-year-old that was, I don't know if y'all saw this, but it was like a 3-year-old that had his chain snatched in these like apartments in a hood or whatever. And this lady was saying, like, I think she said it's the second or third time it happened to her son. And it was on video. This Black man went up and snatched a gold chain off a 3-year-old baby neck. Now, I can't imagine any Black woman that would do something like that. Now, it could be like a woman that's on that stuff, but you know what I'm saying? The majority of the time, you know who's going to be doing something like that. A Black man, unfortunately. Or fortunately, however you want to look at it. And I think if I just put up all of these stats and I didn't say anything, I just spoke on the stats, that itself would, first of all, look very bad on them. But number two, they would be very offended because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth about anything. They just want to come and, like Coach T said, make up lies about Black women. Because all the things that they say make up lies about Black women. Because all the things that they say never really apply to Black women. It's a situation of them trying to put their actions onto Black women. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm going to do that because I think, you know what I'm saying? And I think I'm going to do that because I think the more we have these conversations and I actually just give straight numbers that can't be argued with, the maybe that will help Black women, because I don't think Black men gonna see it, but maybe they will, but I don't think so. And it'll help Black women see really a clear picture that they should not take the responsibility for all the things that go on their shoulders. Because there are a lot of Black women that do that. And I don't think they should, you know? But let me go down here to Supervillain.
Before you go to supervillain, I would just say, make it like, well, I ain't gonna tell you what to do, but I would say, in my experience, when you're trying to help somebody you're trying to give somebody back their agency of like, and not like telling them what to do. Basically raising a teenager, like give them the information to help them draw their own conclusion. Like, okay, if Black male literacy rates are this, how can you be in a relationship with somebody who's illiterate? If Black males incarceration rates are this, how can you be a co-parent, or how can somebody help you raise a child if they're incarcerated?
Okay, yeah. I got you. Well, then that's what I'll do. I'll like put up the stats, and then when we discuss it, I'll talk about it from that lens. Yep, because I really do think that it needs to be known. And I think that there are very few people that actually, give the numbers of the problem. Like, we can talk about the problem, but I really do believe that you know, numbers don't lie at all. Like, and I'll tell you this, you guys, when Kevin Samuels was around, when he was alive, I had discovered like all of these Kevin Samuels groups. And I think I told y'all plenty of times that I lurk in the groups and stuff. I kind of slowed down on lurking because the things they say just really, they be just like so triggering for me that I was just tired of seeing them. But when I first joined the groups, I joined the groups from my regular Facebook profile. And, black men in the groups, they would say, the most disgusting things about black women. But I would be in there arguing with them. And then they would come in my DMs. And even though my profile says married to my husband or whatever, they would say, like, oh, yeah, they would look at, like, how you got them little pictures on your profile, like you can choose your favorite pictures. So they would go on my pictures and comment inappropriate things and talk about the way I looked and say that they can be a better man to me, and talk about my boobs, just nasty stuff. So much to the point to where I took all my pictures off because it was like, y'all hate black women, but y'all don't have no problem sexualizing them and wanting to talk to them, but y'all don't have any respect for them. And I remember I was going back and forth with this one dude in one of the Kevin Samuels groups, and this man told me it was a man. It was a black man, and he was on he was trying to defend black women in there. I don't know why he was in there, but he was. And he told me, this was a long time ago, he said, when you talk to men, he said, instead of getting mad at what they're saying, he was like, the best thing that you can do is use the numbers and the facts because they can't argue with you when you give them the numbers and the stats. He said they may be mad, he said, but they won't have anything really to say to you. And I started doing that moving forward, using numbers instead. And like I said, like I remember one time I was having this debate with this like Middle Eastern dude about black women and all this stuff. And I was giving him all these stats. And this man started talking about, oh yeah, I went to your picture. You got some nice boobs. Can I suck on them or something? And I just blocked him because I knew that now he was trying to be ignorant to throw me off because he couldn't attack anything that I was saying. And I think that that's something that I feel like I'm going to do more on TikTok on giving. I already give numbers, but I'm going to give even more to where it can't be denied. And then I'll try to also do what Coach C said, because I do think it's really important. Oh, you know what they do? They do. But you know what? I'm going to make sure that I have like where I got this stuff, some of the articles and clips, and I'll try to put it all on like a board like I got here so that they can see it. Because I think a lot of times men, specifically black men, don't research nothing. They just take everything that another man say and they expect to say something, but they don't expect you to be actually educated on it. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry, you guys. I'm still eating. Hopefully, I don't sound too crazy. Go ahead, supervillain.
Thank you, Triggered.
Hey,
Hey, panel, comment section. And there's so many things that were said, dropping gems this morning as per usual. Y'all get the likes up? Let's get Trig where she deserves. This is hard work. She's doing Mother Nature duty. Let's compensate her a little bit, just a little bit. It's free to tap. It's good cardio. I want to say, I don't even know where to start. I do want to say this. When it comes to the social experiment part, I would even take it a step further. The last maybe 100 crimes that these deviants have done, flip it. Instead of the black man did this, blase blase, flip it to a black woman did it, and let's discuss it. And let's see all the things they're going to say about black women, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the discussion, let them know, oh, by the way, it was a black man. Do you still feel the same way? Because I'm going to guarantee you they're not going to feel the same way. They're going to come up with let it be a black woman, and they'll give you a precise breakdown of why this happened. And then flip it and tell them it was a black man, and they'll come up with 101 excuses. I am telling you, that's a live I would love to see. Take their last 100 crimes, flip it, say it was a black woman who did it, and see what they got to say. And then let them know, oh no, by the way, it was a black man who did it. And I'm telling you, they'll have 101 excuses. I want to piggyback off what Coach T said, especially because for some reason racism have us a lot of the time in a chokehold. You have to understand, and it's only going to do through a lot of heavy reading. This is a black male behavior that has been happening before white supremacy, before white people knew they were white and in caves. They've been doing this a long time. Coach T mentioned how a lot of us were sold by the men in our community. That is, by the way, The reason why Mansa Musa ended up being the richest man in history. A lot of people think it's because of spices and all that. That's a lie. That's a lie, just like how people think America got rich because of cotton and tobacco. No, it's because of the selling, the human trafficking of black bodies. That will always be the number one currency in the world, by the way. I hope y'all know that. So when they like bring up men like Mansa Musa, please let them know, yeah, he was the number one slave trader. He made more money than any white man made selling slaves. Well, selling people, black bodies. I ain't gonna call them slaves because a lot of them weren't. But also, I want to remember to bring black women's humanity into the conversation. It was mentioned earlier that we either have to overperform just to be the same, and just to show up, we're considered what's the word? Like not able to do anything, unable to do anything. That's why we have to do the overperforming. We never just get to be, right? We never just get to have a humanity. We're either subhuman when we show up, and then when we show out, we're superhuman. We never just get to be the human part. And this is why a lot of the stuff when we do it stands out. I don't see nothing black women do different than I've seen a white Karen do, a spicy Latina do. And I don't know, one of my best friends growing up was a Japanese girl. Her mother was so strict and so violent. I mean, she would go upside her head. I'm not even trying to lie, like a kung fu movie. I've never seen a woman more violent than a Japanese woman, my best friend's mother. I'm talking about kung fu fighting upside her daughter's head. So again, a lot of these characteristics that they say black women have, black women have it, white women, Asian women, all types of, even the men, they have it too. I don't know why ours is so micromanaged, but I'm going to assume it's because, like I tell y'all all the time, black women are the farthest from white tea supremacy, white tea proximity, and we also are not striving for it the most. And people look at it as weird and they judge us. But we're doing the same thing as everyone, literally everyone else. We are human beings like everyone else, and that's the one thing I always like to bring to the conversation when it comes to black women. Please don't feel guilty about anything. You're not doing anything different than anyone else. You're just doing it looking a whole lot better and being black doing it. You'll, yeah, thank you, Trey.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that Supervillain made, like honesty, because every other woman does do the exact same things. I when she mentioned about the Japanese family that she knew, I will say that I was looking up some information. This was probably like maybe like 3 months ago. I was going to make this video, but then I decided to just scrap it because I didn't want black men to think that I was trying to advocate for them to stay with black women, because it was about to be, the video was about interracial dating and the fact that while black men choose other races of women, they're no different than black women. And so I had compiled all this information of all of these men from different communities being asked about their women, like, are their women submissive? Are their women docile? And all of these things. And I remember watching this video of this man on TikTok. He was Japanese, and he was talking for about 10 minutes. And he was saying that he had seen a lot of people say on TikTok that black women were masculine and like aggressive. And he was saying that he was an older Japanese man. He said, like, there's no one more aggressive than a Japanese woman. Like, Japanese women, he was just saying, now I'm not a Japanese person, so I don't know anything about the culture to make any type of like comments. But he was just saying that basically Japanese women didn't play. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, he said that he's met black women before, and he didn't think that black women at all are on the level of Japanese women. And he said he was confused and he didn't understand. I watched videos of white men say the same thing and talk about things that they had experienced from white women. I was looking at Hispanic men talking about it and all these different things. And like I said, I think that there's something spiritually going wrong with black men, which is the reason why they feel the need to publicly degrade and bash our name to the public. and try to make us look as bad as possible. But I think another reason why they're able to make us look as bad as possible is because we as black women constantly and consistently take the high route. Just like Coach T was saying, as far as don't make us tell the truth about you, I don't think that black women very rarely actually tell the complete truth. Now, we may come up here and say our experiences that, hey, we knew this man that was no good and this, that, and we talk about our fathers and we talk about these things. But I don't think that we really, really go in like we should. And we definitely don't go in the way black men go in at all. Like we don't. And that is, in my opinion, the problem. Because if we really went in, I believe it's like a bully situation. You know what I'm saying? It's like this person know that they can do these things because you gonna let it go. So of course they keep getting more and more outlandish with the abuse because we don't be saying nothing. Like literally black men created a whole genre of music to degrade us, to say, hey, B, get on your knees. Hey, B, you a 304. You only good for what's between your legs. You ain't nothing. And for the life of me, people uplift Jay-Z. I don't know why. He said that he would never love a woman. He said it in his songs plenty of times. He's responsible for pushing forth that narrative to a lot of impressionable, you know what I'm saying, young black boys and black men. And I don't see no music where black women say things like that at all. Maybe now, but back in the day they weren't. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we as black women have got to start doing that. And I really just had this epiphany today. I really am about to really start. But like, I promise you, like when I end this live, man, I'm gonna do another live later today, and I'm going to compile a whole bunch of information. And these lives moving forward, they about to be nasty for real, because I'm tired of seeing it. Like I said, if anybody that just came in here, what started this whole live is me sitting there seeing a live where they had a picture up of Krishan Rock and was talking about Krishan Rock is representative of black women. In what world is Krishan Rock respectfully the representative of black women? Beef for real. I ain't never met a Krishan Rock in my fucking life. And I have had, I'll say that I guess I would consider myself a little bougetto or whatever, but I'm gonna keep it real. I've had some hood friends and I've had some bougie friends and I've had some friends in between. And ain't none of them ever in my life behave like Krishan Rock, ever. Ain't none of them ever did that. None of them. Would none of them never get no man face tattooed on their neck like a goofball? Get a man face tattooed on their cheek who don't even respect them, don't even claim them, always calling them out their name, rip the whole chunk of hair out of their head in the back. Come on now. Like, there's no way in the world that girl should be representative of anybody but her doggone self. And if y'all say I don't like her, I don't like her. I don't. I believe that she gave her child developmental issues because of her inability to stay off the sauce drinks and off of smoking. And that's this. I don't respect no woman that put. Now, if you have a child that's disabled due to no fault of your own, there's nothing wrong with that, sis. You're not responsible. But if you make your child ill because of your problems, then I can't respect you. You get no respect from me at all. Cause anything, you got a life inside of you and you plan to keep it, you know better. You know you got to stop doing stuff that you got to do. Me personally, I love drinking wine. Okay? I love drinking wine, right? But when I got pregnant, I have 2 daughters. When I got pregnant, you know what I did? I stopped drinking wine. Even when it was a doctor that said, hey, you know what, you can have a half a glass of wine. I said, nah, that's too risky. I won't have any type of alcohol beverages, period. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, come on, man. I don't, that girl shouldn't be the representative of nobody. But I think Supervillain has something to say, and then I'll go to Gabrielle. And hey, how you doing, Gabrielle?
Trig, I just want to I had to say something to the comments. This Kahende guy, he said black women are dangerous to the patriarchy. And it's misinformation like this. This is why things against black women are happening all the time. Black women can't do nothing to the patriarchy. If anything, black women's labor and muling is what is helping the patriarchy. You're trying to make black women who's already being unalived every 3 to 4 unemployed business hours by the men who don't profit from patriarchy the most, and then gonna say a statement like black women are dangerous. Don't ever put black women are dangerous in a sentence ever. Not when we're being knocked, our heads knocked off our body every 3 to 4 unemployed business hours. I don't know if he thought he was trying to help. Black women aren't dangerous to any patriarchy. If anything, our muling, our labor is what they're using to keep that shit going. Y'all have to stop spreading false information under the guise of trying to present as being for or pro black women. Y'all gotta stop that. That's terrible misinformation.
All right, supervillain. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here to Gabrielle. Go ahead, Gabrielle.
Hey, Triggered. So I was just at the prompt, and I definitely do agree that propaganda from BM is what basically created the stereotype of. Oh yeah, I couldn't see it for a minute, but yeah, now I can see the prompt of BW being seen as angry and masculine. I mean, like you said, like that is like how they talk about BW and like music, in the manosphere. And I just want to preface this by saying that I don't deal with BM period. Like I never have, never will. Like that's just me. That's just my choice. But I mean, I definitely do think that that stereotype definitely is overwhelmingly because of how BM speak about BW. And I definitely agree with number two, like, and I've been in like your lives previously where you talked about this and said that like when people from other races talk about like the crime rates in the BC, like it's predominantly BM, like what I mean, like contributing to that. It's not BW. And that shows across multiple statistics, like men in general, like around the world, commit the most violent acts. Like I don't know if I can like say the names of the violent acts because I don't want to get the live shut down, but you know what I mean. Like they commit those things overwhelmingly. Like women, especially BW, we just don't really do these things in mass. I think that ties into number three as well. I do think it's projection. I think that BM and a lot of men in general are like really in a dark place. I do like, I know you said earlier in the live that you think it's spiritual. I do think there's a spiritual aspect to it. I think a lot of them are really just trying to siphon as much energy as possible from women. And I think that they do that by either like false flattery, degrading women. Like they obviously don't like women. They constantly talk about how much they dislike BW and women, but they can't stop talking about women, which is ironic. And yeah, I think number four kind of ties into number two a little bit when it comes to save the BW have to stop sharing their responsibility. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely not us. Like BM and men in general, like they commit the most crimes. So it just doesn't make sense for, us as BW to, be seen as accountable for, BM's actions. And how are BW pushing BM away due to their masculinity when so-called non-feminine when so-called feminine non-BW get the same treatment? Yeah, I don't think BW are pushing BM away. I think what it is that BM have gotten away with exploiting BW for so long that now that a lot of us are like waking up to that and not accepting it and speaking out against it, BM feel threatened by that. Like they are losing like power and control. And, to me, that kind of goes back to like men in general just trying to siphon energy from women. Like so many BM and men in general rely on women propping them up and doing labor for them and doing all of these, extra things, that really pour into them. And so I think that, I don't know if that really answers number five, but that's just kind of my thought on it.
All right.
There.
I'm sorry, I had to unmute myself. Sometimes it's like I'm trying to get the button and get stuck, but yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from, Gabrielle, for sure. I agree with you. Let me go down here to Special K and then Kahinde. I think Kahinde has something to say to Supervillain. Go ahead, Special K.
Yes, you know what? I had something to say to Supervillain too. I agree with everything you said, but I think I think he was on to something, and he don't realize that he was on to something when he said that we're dangerous to the patriarchy. Um, and my perspective is, yes, we are. If we're healed, if we are, more intelligent, if we are more educated, we are a danger. It means that if we are in any way a danger, it would mean that we are knocking it down, we're killing it, we're messing it up to the point where it will be null and void, to the point where men won't be able to trample over us anymore. We'll be the, I won't say the leaders, because I don't think that I strive to be a leader of the Black community, but I'm saying that Black women would have more freedom if the patriarchy didn't exist. And so that would be my perspective. As far, and I don't know if that's just like, if it sounds, like delusional, but I'm saying, yeah, let's be a danger. Let's be a danger to patriarchy in that way, in a more positive way, rather than a negative way. Because if he's saying that we're a danger to the patriarchy because he upholds it, then I can see where you coming from. But if he's saying we're a danger to it, and that's why Black men are so angry with us, then I would have to say, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's make them even more angry. Let's do what we've been doing. Keep speaking out against, everything that these men are doing to our community and to us and our children. And as far as my opinion on a lot of Black BMs, like I just seen a video yesterday of Kim Kardashian's daughter, and I don't know how young the young man was, but I know I can hear in the fact that he was immature in his voice. But I don't know if anybody else seen the video, but he had yelled to Kim Kardashian's daughter that Kim Kardashian had a big butt. He said, I forgot her name, the little girl's name, Northwest. He said, hey, Northwest, your mama got a big butt or something like that. And I was just like, wow, y'all are just diabolical. And you can tell in his tone that he was actually a BM, So, again, like I said, if we are a danger to the patriarchy, let us be a danger in a more positive way where we, completely dissolve of it, And that's all I had to say.
All right, Special K. All right, I'm gonna go to Kahinde, and then I'm gonna go to Supervillain, because I think probably Supervillain wants to respond to both of y'all then. So, but let me go to Kahinde first. Go ahead, sir.
Hi everyone. To Supervillain, I apologize if you feel like I was spreading any harmful rhetoric or you feel like I was trying to spread some hateful message, but I apologize, but I'm not. But that's just the way the system is. Is one of the best ways that literally even Black men are in collusion, are even in that collusion in that system to oppress Black women. Period. It's not a opinion, is a matter of fact that Black men are even used. You look at any Black leaders, in the last 50 years, because someone said in the comment section, well, why not? Black men not the same. No, Black men sell out to the system all the time. All of the time. Quickly to sell out, quickly to not even follow through with their ideals and everything. And regarding Black women are seen as dangerous. Yeah, seen from the Rosa Parks to from the Tuskegee experiment, all of these things. If you go and take a look at it, you always see that Black women are always behind the scene. They're the first to raise up their hand. They're the first to reveal. They're the first to, stand. I hope I'm not being rude when I say this. They're the first to literally stand up against that system, because Black men have been known to, just look down, keep their head down, and walk around because we want to be a part of the system. And black women are used as a tokenized enemy. That's why you always see, whenever it's in a TV show, in the writing or anything, like black women are the most disrespected people in this world. You see them, they will dress, they will literally cosplay black women, they will cuss out black women, they will call them angry and everything, every other name under the sun. And yet they will literally take black women's beauty standards and wear it and cosplay as black women and claim is theirs. So it's not something I'm propagating, it's not something I'm spreading, it is what it is. Like, okay, for example, now in the UK where I'm from, they've literally said there's a femicide going on. And that's the police that said that there's a femicide going on. And no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to make a big deal out of it. We had a WM woman that was literally raped by the police, Sarah Everard, by a police officer. And to this day, I believe that's not the first time he's done that. And I believe he's done that to black women, because there's tons and tons of black women that go missing. And they will tell you gotta wait a whole 7 days before you can make a report that, maybe she just went away somewhere, because they just don't care, because it's a black woman. So this day not being found. We have an issue in the UK where they're finding not only black women, not only BW and BMs, they're finding them next to open water, like literally next to lakes, ponds, and seas, just drowned, and no one wants to talk about it. So I'm not spreading misinformation or anything. I apologize if you feel that's what I am, but I'm telling, even now in the workplace where I work, anytime I'm working with my black managers that are women, they have to be 100% on their game. They can't afford to make any mistakes. I've been in that. I've been in those meetings where they will literally be trying to say, "Oh,
You got 9 seconds, Nahinde. Kende.
Yeah. So, that's all I have to say. I apologize if Supervillain just feel that I'm spreading that rhetoric.
Okay. All right. I appreciate you. Let me go up here to Supervillain and then Aaron. Go ahead, Supervillain, sis. I don't know if Coach C has something to say too. I'm not for sure, but go ahead, Supervillain.
Hey Trey, and we were just having a conversation, literally maybe less than 5 minutes ago. By the way, this is the first time I think you did a live and did not do the stats. I'm just gonna throw that out there. In his own commentary, he ended with how unprotected, how victimized, and how dangerous it is for black women to exist in this world. We cannot be the victims and also be a danger to the system. We cannot be the same. This is what I'm talking about, Trig, and it gets so frustrating because this conversation, number one, and you know how I feel, it's all men, and I understand you do your thing, you run a tight ship. This is why a lot of times men can't be part of the conversation. They have to be regulated to the comment section. I don't understand how you can be the victim in a system and also a danger to the system at the same time. Again, one of the biggest things that you might be new here is when Trig reads the statistics, a lot of people don't believe it. You want to know why people don't believe it? Because they hear statements like black women are dangerous to the system. There's no way somebody could be dangerous to the system and then also be in their heads knocked off every 3 to 4 unemployed business hours. The science won't make sense. Your own commentary, most of your commentary is how much black women are endangered, not how black women are being dangerous to the system. Yes, we've had Rosa Parks. We've had plenty of women who are strong. And that's not the issue. It's not enough. When you bring out the 1 in 10 million women, by the way, that are political activists, comparing to the women that are everyday people who may be doing their best. And again, their heads are being knocked off every 3 to 4 unemployed business hours. This is why people do not believe the stats when Triggs reads it every single day. And I thought it was so funny. This is like the one time she did not read it in the beginning of her live. People will go around and not believe it because other people are making statements that black women are dangerous to this. Yes, we can be a danger or a threat, but our presence, again, we're not in. I know. I don't know how to explain it to y'all without making it sound like black women can't do anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if we're looking at the black ink on white paper, if we're writing everything that's going down right now, black women aren't a danger to patriarchy. We are the victims of patriarchy. You cannot be both. And like Miss Chrissy Baby was saying, people don't believe our femicide rates because people are walking around that thinking because black women are a danger to this or rude or are the stereotype that Trick has in her backdrop. This is why people don't believe that we are literally almost an endangered species. And Trick, I'm not here to change anybody's mind. Honestly, I'm just here to support you when you say the facts. You don't have to apologize to me, Kehinde. This is something that goes on and we go to bed and don't toss or turn. And it happens to black girls and women every single night. So I'm going to just end it with that because I'm frustrated, Trig, and I can ramble and I ain't trying to do that. It's crowded today.
All right. I understand that, super villain. All right. I'm going to actually go to Coach T first because she had something to respond to Kehinde, and then I'll go to Aaron and then Cola Rock. Go ahead, Coach T, sis.
Thanks, Trigger. I'm gonna be quick and succinct, and I hope I'm clear when I say because I speak to women, specifically to women. I spoke before and I said, stop letting them tell our stories for us and speak your own truth. We have to stop letting men tell us who we are and what our experience is. Stop letting them put a battery in your back. You gonna let this man pump your head up talking about you're a danger to the patriarchy, and you gonna go out there and you gonna be angry and masculine on your job trying to put changes in place and make sure people, and you gonna go out there in the streets and protest, and you gonna be excuse my language, you're gonna be assed out. Ain't nobody gonna be there to lift you up and support you. Ain't gonna be nobody there to take care of your kids because they're already not there. Black women, we stop dehumanizing yourself. We are not superhumans who can overthrow a whole physical and spiritual system. The patriarchy is not just I'm discriminated against on my job or what he's talking about, like syphilis experiments. Those are all facets of it. But that's not the patriarchy. The patriarchy is a worldwide, global, spiritual system. There are deeper forces at play that are going on that y'all don't understand. And you think that you are such a behemoth of a person that you can go out into the world and force men to be better people when most of y'all don't even force y'all boss to give y'all a day off so y'all can take y'all kids to the doctor? Where is the danger? And I'm not saying this to belittle black women, but I'm saying this so y'all can understand. Stop letting these men distract you or keep you from your essence and your life and what your life is supposed to be about. Your life is not supposed to be about being a danger to the patriarchy. Your life is not supposed to be about none of that, because as you can see, the men will bend the knee. The men in your community will sell you into slavery. The men in your community will have you pregnant and another woman pregnant up the street and decide that he gonna be with her on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe he'll come and see you on Saturday, Sunday. So stop, get that out of your minds for your own personal self-concept. Yes, you are brilliant, you are strong, you are capable, but don't go out into the world telling these people that, yeah, I'm here to overthrow the patriarchy. I'm working this job and I'm going to help people and I'm going to do this. Shut that up. You are not a superhuman. You are a person, and y'all are steady. We are steady having these conversations as women, as mothers. And we're saying, I'm tired. Single motherhood is hard. I need a community. There's no village. Okay. So what? You tired or you overthrowing the patriarchy? Like what's going on here? Like, let's be real. Stop letting men convince you or trick you out of who you are in your essence and trick you out of your destiny. The man came up here and said that black men will always take what they can get and leave you destitute. They're trying to steal your life from you to convince you that you should be doing their job. The patriarchy is about patriarchs. It's about men. Why are women a danger to a system that's about men having power over other men? That don't even make no sense.
Okay. All right, Coach T. All right. I appreciate you. All right. Let me go down here to Aaron and then Cola Rock. Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, when I hear him say that, like, women are dangerous to the system, I don't think that, like, okay, we this big superhero human. I just feel like us collectively as a community, we are viewed as dangerous. That's why they got rid of a lot of our civil rights leader. And that's why they put the rock in our communities, because we were making changes, because we were doing better for ourselves. It's like it ain't like we have not ever done better for ourselves for stepping up and standing up. We have done so much for our communities just from saying something and pointing out the injustice that's been happening to us. And I guess that's just how I perceived it. Like, that's how we are viewed. Now, granted, you can be a victim and a threat due to the fact that when people see you as a danger, people don't think, okay, they're dangerous, let me run away. They want to get rid of the danger. They want to get rid of you because they know, if I leave this person here too long, they could come and get me. And that's why they want to get rid of our community. That's why when we had Black Wall Street, that community was so dangerous, and y'all don't realize it. Our money circled around that community 7 times before it left. Our janitors was getting paid $17 an hour back in the 1920s. That community was dangerous for those people. And that's why they got rid of it. It's just like a normal person on the street. Like, you have to think about it this way. When someone is like, okay, so I'll tell you about a personal experience. We had a bully in the neighborhood and they viewed him as dangerous. He ended up getting victimized because they wanted to get rid of him. They wanted him to be dealt with. They did not want him to be in the community because they were scared of him, because he was just that dangerous. So you could be a danger and a victim at the same time. You just have to look at it as a certain way. You can't think of like, oh, we thinking of ourselves as superhuman. No, it's just when you got people looking at you to the point where they're trying to figure out how to get rid of you because they don't want you to make the changes and they don't want the changes that you are trying to make. That's when you then become a threat to them. And I'll land my plane there.
All right. Aaron. Okay, so I'm gonna go here to Cola Rock and then Gabrielle, because Gabrielle had something I think in response to say to Aaron. Go ahead, Cola Rock. Or hopefully that's right. If I said it wrong, let me know.
My name is Erin.
Interference. You can hear? I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. So, okay. Thank you. So I just basically wanted to say I caught onto the live, and have been listening, I think, from the beginning, and then just listening to some of the guests. And I totally agree with a lot of the points each person has had. I think they add to um, to some of the solution. Recognizing that we are a threat is true, because collectively, if we're able to create a way of life that allows us to be free, of the patriarchy, or free of the extra baby mamas and things like that, all the negativity. If we can create a system where we're free of that, then we are a threat. We have minds that are, unmatched, strength that's unmatched. and you do see that right now, like in our political climate right now, we have one black woman, young lady, who has been outspoken on everything that has been wrong, and she has been right every time. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, and I love her to death. And I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. The one that said about the big back lady. She was talking about that. And just the fact that, yeah, we are a threat. We're a good threat though, because we're not the type of people that only want to see us come up. We generally accept others and help others and things like that. So I think a lot of the points are very true, very very true, that each one of you have made. And to continue the conversation going, I think it's a good thing. You hear men all the time on these lives talking about how bad we are and what we want, far as gold digging or you still there? Can you still hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's sickening. It's really sickening. You see that they do not protect us, they do not speak up for us. And even with my own personal situation, I see it, and it sucks. It really, really sucks. But I don't really have much to go on right now. I really wanted to just listen to all of you and hear all the great points that everyone's been making. And if we, just to say, if women, African American women, FBA, whoever, whatever you consider yourself, because I hear a lot of that too, and I don't understand that too much, the separating of us, but just in
What do
general.
you mean? What do you mean the separating of us?
Okay, so I don't know. Have you heard about FBAs and African Americans, like this whole divide thing? Have you heard about that? That's
Yeah,
that.
I have heard about it. I think that sometimes it is necessary because our issues are not the same, and sometimes Black Americans are disrespected and looked
Oh,
at as if we have
absolutely.
no culture and things. So sometimes there's a separation needed for people to understand where Black American people are coming from, and that we do have a rich culture, and that there are things that we have done for the benefit of others, and also, you know,
Yeah,
um, so
absolutely.
yeah, there's a reason for the separation sometimes.
Yeah, because like I'm kind of new to, well, not new to TikTok, but just trying to get the in the habit of saying the right thing, so no one's getting pulled off of a live and things like that. So, and that just kind of startled me a little bit, hearing the separation, because I think understand BLK people who, and women, I should
I
say,
mean, I don't think that
because we
you should
talk
be
about women,
startled
but
by it. I think Black people have always been separated. Black people have always been tribal. Nobody's ever been in one cohesive unit. So there's no difference. I think the only reason why it shocks people when Black American people say anything like that is because we're basically considered to be the ones that have to accept everything, and so everybody can have their separate cultures, but then come in and claim we have none and take what we have to offer. So
yeah,
yeah.
you're right. You're right. I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think I'm just getting, and I guess startled
But
was the
yeah,
wrong word.
I gotta go up there,
Go ahead.
Cola, to Gabrielle, and then
Yep.
Miss Chrissy baby has something to say. Gabrielle, I'll let you speak. Go ahead, sis, and then I gotta get to Miss Chrissy baby.
Yeah, thank you. So the whole thing about being a danger to the patriarchy, when I heard that, I didn't think of that in terms of like, oh, BW are superhuman and we need to be on the front lines. Like I didn't think about us being a danger in that way, but I more interpret it in a way of like the choices that we make. I don't know if danger is the right word, but basically the choices that we make can kind of protect ourselves from patriarchy, so to say. So like I think I even put it in the chat, but like just the idea of like not struggling as a woman, that can be, I don't know if you want to call it a danger or a threat, but I would just say like that can at the very least be in opposition to the patriarchy. Like so many men or quote unquote patriarchs would not be in that position if not for a woman. That's why there are all kinds of stats showing that married men make more money, that married men tend to do better than single men, tend to live longer than single men. Like the patriarchy in and of itself in a lot of ways is built off of women's unpaid labor, women's servitude, women going above and beyond for males, whereas these males are not reciprocating it. They benefit from that labor. So I don't know if danger is the right way to put it, or I don't know if danger, someone says, oh, BW are dangerous to the patriarchy, if that can be misconstrued. But I do think that I'll just say on an individual level, like we as BW can definitely, I don't know, protect ourselves from it, oppose it, insulate it. And it doesn't have to be in like an on the front lines, like, at a rally, at a protest way, but just like, even things just like not dealing with men who expect all of this servitude from us, not, just not looking at life in a way of where you feel like struggle just has to be, part of our lives as BW. Like I'm not sure if I'm explaining it the right way, but just like living life and making decisions along those lines, I do think that choice can be seen as dangerous to the patriarchy, because if look at it this way, if women in mass stop doing unpaid labor for men, stop putting our goals and our dreams on the side to prop up men's dreams, like the patriarchy and men who benefit from women doing all of these things, they would, over time begin to collapse. So it's not going to be like one woman doing all of these things in her personal life that's not going to, destroy the patriarchy. But I do think on a collective level, if women withdrew in the ways I just explained, I think that would be, seen as dangerous or threatening to the patriarchy. So that's just kind of how I interpreted the whole, dangerous to the patriarchy thing. And I'll just land my plane there for now.
All right, all right, all right, Gabrielle. Okay, let me go up here to Miss Chrissy, baby.
Okay, I'm gonna try to maintain my composure. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Um, I've been heavily involved with advocacy, even on the political spectrum, when it comes to Black people, particularly Black women in aviation. And I guess I have to give a grand example of what I'm talking about. When you're in those spaces of just fighting all the time is, I don't know, I get emotional, but even seeing these things in reality, it's frustrating to see that, to hear that we have the power. And I'm not trying to be a defeatist. I do think we're very smart. I do think we're special and amazing, but the whole world is toppling on top of us and we keep fighting. Like, I think Jasmine Crockett was mentioned. That statement that her own party said was so triggering, because that literally was my everyday life when I was heavily involved in trying to help pull us up by our bootstraps. I'm sorry, I'm getting so upset. In our career field, you know what I mean? Like, her own party is okay with her doing the hard work, getting in the paint, cussing people out, but then on the back end calling her aggressive and doing too much and embarrassing the Democratic Party. You see what I'm saying? They like our loud voices when it gets them to where they need to be for support. But then once we climb to that top of the ladder, they kick us all the way down. I don't think we have again, I'm not trying to be a defeatist, but it's just unrealistic for us to think that we can take on this fight for all these communities, even ourselves, if we're getting offed as much as we are on a daily basis. I feel like even it's so frustrating having these conversations and someone can bring up femicide and then, oh, well, white women are better and Black women are wearing lashes and weaves, and we're talking about femicide. I don't think people see us. That's the issue. So to me, it just feels like we're fighting a fight for no reason. I think self-preservation, self-care, self-love and stepping away from trying to be everybody's superhero is the best thing. Like, I went to get my feeling fixed, and I had a blood pressure of 275 over one something, and I had to stop. We have the highest rates of heart disease. We're getting bashed every day online, in the workplace, the workplace violence. I just think we just need to stop having everybody's back. If we gotta throw people under the bus to protect our own mental health, oh well. Like Trigger said about the Black community, no, that's not us. We're not doing that. We're the most educated. Stop putting us in that category. Stop trying to prop up Krishan in the public and ignore the rest of us. And we shouldn't be fighting for respectability politics anyway. Oh well, they're not going to believe us anyway. I don't know, I might be rambling, but that was just triggering to hear that we're a danger to patriarchy, because I've been there. And like I said, they'll let us climb so they can get the benefits, and then everyone kicks us back down on the ground. So that's it.
All right, I appreciate you sharing your experience, Miss Chrissy, and I'm so sorry that you've experienced trauma like this. I really am, and trying to fight and survive, even though unfortunately your story is like a lot of ours. You know what I'm saying? But I think that I just want to say I appreciate your bravery for, relaying that to us, because I think that your words and what you said was powerful, and I definitely understand where you're coming from, and I definitely agree. I'm gonna go down here to super villain, and then I think Kahinde wanted to respond, but I'm gonna go to super villain first. Go ahead, sis.
Thank you, Triggered. And I just want to say, I'm not taking away anything that Black women do or achieve. Uh, Patriarchy is systemic and uh, uh, I'm sorry. I just gotta, because it is triggering. You know what? I'm just gonna segue and say this. Oftentimes, and this is no dig to anybody, but people who don't actually do advocacy or things in the community, it's easy to say, yeah, we can do this, we can do that. So I know that Trig, I know you said that, Coach T, obviously Chrissy Baby, we've done things in our community. Y'all are saying we're a danger to patriarchy. Have you ever held a community organization, a coat drive, and you can't get 10 people to donate something? Trying to find food for hungry people in your neighborhood. Again, we're a threat to patriarchy. We can't even be a help to our own communities. So, yes, when you say a statement like Black women are dangerous to the patriarchy, when we can't even get 10 fathers to show up to parent teacher night, I am talking about individual things and on a larger level. It is a lot of y'all have not actually did grassroots, boots on the ground things in your community. I'm talking about doing things for children and no one will show up or donate. And you still got to make it happen because there are people in need. I'm not trying to be on a soapbox, but just hearing that, yeah, there are people who don't know where their next meal is coming from. And you're putting them in a category that they're dangerous to patriarchy. I understand what you mean about Rosa Parks. Everybody, every Black woman, we just literally said we're not a monolith. Every Black woman isn't Rosa Parks. Every Black woman isn't Krishan. Like, it is triggering. And we have the right to feel bad about our situation. We have the right to come and express it. Where else are we going to do it but Trigger's panel? This is the only time where we listen to each other. So when, again, this is why I said a lot of I don't think he was being intentional, but allowing him to say something like that, I had to say something because that was harmful rhetoric. We don't have any other place where we can break down and say our truths. And in the one room where Trig does the hardest thing, controlling the narrative, we are being our own enemy by agreeing that we are a threat, dangerous to the patriarchy. Maybe a threat, maybe an inconvenience, but danger. I'm sorry. I'm just coming from somebody who actually does shit in real life. I'm not on here talking on panels because I'm bored. You can't get 10 mother efforts to donate to a children's lunch, a coat drive, and we're a threat to patriarchy. Trick. I can't handle that. Trig, you say the numbers every day. How many times do we got to fight when we come on this panel and you say the numbers and these dudes say, oh, who cares? Why do you think they don't care? Because they think we're a danger to the patriarchy. This is why and it's not just femicide rates. We are the highest trafficked. We are the highest abused in healthcare. Like it's not even femicide. It's so much more. And then to open your mouth and say, that should never have even been part of the conversation. I don't even know why that was relevant when we're talking about stereotypes that are harmful to Black women. And this is why I said sometimes they got to be regulated to the comment section. Just like Coach T said, they don't get to tell our stories in our spaces. This is the only time where we get to listen to each other and actually be open and speak with other people who care. That's so detracted from the point of the live. And this is what I'm talking about. Sure, I'll be having my composure, but I'm going mute. That's all I can do for now.
Okay, no problem, no problem. And you can always express yourself how you want, super villain. There's no checks here. You can say it however you want to. All right, but real quick, I'm gonna go to Coach T first, and because she had something to say, probably also in response to Kehinde, and then I'll go to Kehinde. Go ahead, sis.
Thanks, Triggered. I'm gonna give a real quick breakdown case study of a real time embodiment of this whole idea of the patriarchy and decentering men and not letting men tell our stories for us. This man came into a space that was for women by a woman and made an inflammatory statement. Black women are a danger to the patriarchy. He then goes on to come up and use talking points to support this statement. Later in the comments, he says, well, it's a red pill talking point. They say it in a red pill spaces all the time. So you came into a space that's for women, about women, by women, to intentionally cause chaos and confusion and dissension. We then, a full panel of women having our woman time and conversation, we then centered that topic in that talking point that was presented by a male, sowing seeds of dissension amongst us. He then goes on to say, well, I'll just apologize and leave. Typical male behavior. Cause chaos. Uproot us. Get us all emotionally dysregulated. Get our nervous systems activated. Super villain is upset. Chrissy baby is crying. I'm over here doing breathing exercises. This man came in here into our space that we cultivated and created purposefully intentional for us and did this. This is real time. We're watching this happen in real time. So I want to, again, tell women, especially Black women, when men are talking to you, anytime a man is trying to create a reality for you or give you an identity or an experience, always take it as a threat, because it is. He doesn't mean what you mean, and he's not implying what you're implying. He's not thinking about what's best for you or your life. So why are we so willing to accept or consider his point of view or what he's saying? Gabrielle mentioned, and this is not a personal attack to you, Gabrielle. She mentioned that, well, I'm interpreting it as this. Don't interpret nothing they say. Take it at face value. Why would you say that I'm a danger to the patriarchy? Why would you say that a woman is a danger to men? That's dangerous. Why would you say a woman is dangerous to men when we know the femicide rates? We know what our experiences are. We know the things that we're going through. You're going to sit up here and tell us that we're dangerous to men? I'll leave y'all with this. Perform this little thought experiment. I like doing little thought experiments, like thinking experiments. Okay? So, what does the patriarchy do to women, specifically to Black women, that is dangerous to us? Think about that. So then, what would it mean for us as Black women to be dangerous to the patriarchy? If the patriarchy does this and is dangerous to us, what would we then have to be doing on the inverse, the opposite? Remember, a law of physics. Energy cannot be created. Energy cannot be created. It can only be conserved. So I have to be doing the opposite and equal response to overcome the thing that you're doing to me. So if you have enslaved me, you have R-worded me, you've pillaged me, you've disenfranchised me, you've subjugated me, you've unalived me, what would it then mean for me to be a danger to you? What would I have to do to you in order to overcome and oppose that force that you've placed on me? These men, Molly, you in danger, girl. Do not stop letting men tell your story. Stop letting men give you a narrative and an identity. Leave it exactly where it is. Leave them where they had you effed up at. Don't have a different interpretation for nothing that they tell you. Accept what they are telling you. When they are showing you who they are, when they're telling you the things that they think, don't oh, you think that, oh, okay. Thank you for that information. I'm going to put it in my Rolodex and then I'm going to move accordingly. So thank you for letting me know that you think that women are dangerous to men. So now you can think that. I'm going to think that you think that over there away from me.
Okay, Coach T, I'm gonna ask you, ladies. Do y'all want to hear Kehinde's perspective, or do y'all want me to drop him? Y'all let me know. Y'all all can unmute yourselves and let me know.
Drop his ass. I'm sorry, but we have to start practicing what we preach. Like, we can't put a message and then do the opposite. Drop it. Let him hit the pavement. Anybody who's mad about that, y'all can hit me in the DM.
All right. Yeah, I just want you guys to know that like well, the people that are up here for the most part, y'all know me, but y'all know that this is always a space for Black women, by Black women, where I center Black women only. Black women are the only people's thoughts and perspectives that I care to really consider. Sometimes, like I said, I let men come up for comedic purposes, comedic relief, or just for the perspectives of saying, to show you guys of what I'm saying in real time, and a whole host of other reasons, but it's never really that I care about what they're saying truthfully. So if y'all say drop him, he gone.
You
Yeah.
are you run your ship very tightly. Of course, there's gonna be slips and stuff like that. That's just human nature. But I congratulate you and applaud you, because this is literally the only space that I consider a safe space. You do your damnedest of making sure about that. I want to apologize because he was in the comments and said that, and it just really irritated me, because your first prompt says, why do Black women have the reputation of being angry and masculine? And then to say such an inflammatory statement, this is what I mean about, they come to detract. The whole live is about how Black women have stereotypical, harmful rhetoric against them. And that's the statement you're going to make? I mean, Trig, I just want to thank you again. I was off my rocker a little bit. Y'all know I'm tough up here. Don't tell nobody y'all heard me crying. But I'm just saying, I am so thankful for this space. And some women had to hear or see what happened to understand. So I'm just gonna always appreciate this space. Thank you.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Yeah, that's no problem. No problem at all, you guys. I love all of y'all. And I'll always make sure that you guys are you feel safe and protected and seen and heard. I'll never not do that. But I did want to say something about the danger to the patriarchy thing. I think that maybe I don't know if he had good intentions or not in what he said. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't give men the benefit of the doubt. So I will assume that he didn't have good intentions. But I'll just say this is that, saying Black women are a danger to patriarchy, or even women in general that are a danger to patriarchy, I think that underestimates the actual, depths that men are willing to go to keep women subservient. And I know sometimes when you have Black women, and not saying that we don't have it hard, because we do, but I think that when you look at it from just the lens of the United States, you get more of a sanitized version of oppression. for women, and not saying that there aren't black women that go through horrific things here. There are. But over the world, there are also equally horrific and sometimes even worse things that go on. Like, over there in I think that was the Congo, where the men came in there and they raped all of those women and then set them on fire. Or I think I already mentioned this though, but over there in Afghanistan, where the women were already told that they can't speak out loud anywhere. The only time they can speak is in their homes, and they have to be very quiet so that no one can hear them outside. Well, now I said this already, that you know how they wear, that's the burqas, right? I don't want to get anybody's culture wrong, but I think it's when they wear the whole outfits with just their eyes out. They said now that they want them to cover one eye underneath that, which is literally insane. So you mean you want me to walk around with my depth perception messed up and one eye covered because you think so? Like, you think that Allah is telling you to do that, telling you to be that oppressive against women? That's literally insane. They said that, like, it's very punishable against for unalivings and stuff like that. And they don't even have enough patches to give out to the women. So a lot of the women have to actually make the patch. So you're forcing these women to actually make their own tools of oppression. So I feel like if you were to believe something like, oh yeah, those women there are a danger to the patriarchy, all they have to do is, stand up and say something to these men. No, these men will literally unalive them women ASAP in the worst possible ways. And I think that that's the same thing, just like Miss Chrissy Baby was saying, like how people use black women for their voices, and black women are fighting and getting tired, and nobody's there to uplift them or put them, to say, hey, we appreciate this and we got your back. Like if somebody's fighting back and then everybody stands up and says, hey, you're not going to take this person, or you're not going to do this because we're all there. We know that cushion is not there for black women, or really if women in general, depending on what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I mentioned the other countries, because I don't think white women are in that same position over here in the United States. I think they have more of a, because they enjoy the patriarchy, because they benefit, because it's mostly more leaning white towards, if that makes sense. But I'll just say that I do understand everybody's perspectives, but I do think that it's dangerous to try to make black women feel as if, and once again, and I agree with, like, you're not trying to say it's defeatist or anything, but I do think it's dangerous to really act like black women can fight, and do all of these things, knowing that a lot of times when black women do that, is not perceived well. They're called masculine or aggressive, and sometimes they end up losing their lives. You know what I'm saying? So that is a strange position. So hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. But I did understand everybody's perspective. I even understood Aaron's perspective and Cola Rock's standards, because I think they were agreeing a little bit with the guy that was up here. Like I said, I understand it, but I do think and believe that it is a dangerous thing to think, because it almost, in my opinion, puts black women in this false sense of security, or false sense of gives them a false sense of power. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that black women can't do anything or protect themselves, but I think y'all get what I'm saying. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me go over here to Aaron. Aaron had something to say. Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey,
Hey.
um, I don't think well, I'm not trying to like negate what you trying to say, like, but honestly, I don't think like I feel powerful, like we have like a false sense of like power. I just really feel like I feel like the problem in our community is that we are beat up so much, and that's because they don't want us to get to I guess the power. Like, it's just like a bully. They don't want you to see your true potential. And I feel like the main issue is, it's like when we come together just as women in general, like, because I've seen like my sister work in the community. I've worked in the community with her. Like, our black women is strong. Like, as far as like, even when we get like, we're given little pennies, like we always seem to make something jump. So it's like in that aspect, I do see us as powerful, but not to the point of, I guess, like overthrowing the system. And I guess the problem is with that is we don't really have our black men supporting us like we should. I feel like a lot of that's been I feel like a lot of that's been thrown out the window due to the fact of maybe just during the civil rights movement, you know, when they got rid of all of our strong leaders, like they were talking so hard about protecting the black women. And then it was like it went from protecting the black women to now we're getting disrespected. Now they want us to pretty much shut up. We always getting masculinized. Like it's just we get so much disrespect.
Aaron,
Like
can I
yes,
ask you a question?
yes,
Who
ma'am.
who was protecting the black women during the time that you're talking about?
So I was talking about like during the civil rights movement when like Malcolm X said himself how we need like pretty much they were speaking out about like how we are not protected and how he said black women are the most disrespected on the planet. And I feel like that's what granted like I said I'm not finna act like all black men back then was protecting us because we did have issues. I feel like we did have a stronger knit community then, but I feel like down the line it's been broken up because even during slavery they protected our women, but it's like they protected our women more than they did today. I should say they protected a lot more than they did today.
I mean, I don't know. It's like, when I think that sometimes when black women have these thoughts, this is why I asked. I think maybe, I don't know if you're as aware of like historical context as possible, because it's just like when you talk about civil rights, during civil rights, black men were raping and abusing black women, and the Black Panthers, black
Oh
men were
yeah,
taking
I actually
into,
got that book.
so yeah, it's like I don't think that there was really ever a time per se that black men really were protecting black women, here in the US on the level that other races of men have been prepared to protect and defend their women. I don't think so.
I see your
I don't
point.
think it's like historically, even if it, and this isn't like my opinion either. Like it's like fact based. If you look at what was going on, it just wasn't happening. And I'm not saying that this means every single solitary black man wasn't protecting their women, because there were some, but collectively it wasn't happening. It wasn't. And all it takes is like to do a deep dive, and you'll see so many things that will expose to you that they were never in a situation of protecting. The same problems and issues that we have right now in 2025 was going on in the 60s. It was going on in the 50s. Like, I mean, for goodness sake, you even have like actors, that are unalive now, like Sidney Poitier, like James Earl Jones, like Harry Belafonte, that were saying the same self-hating rhetoric and bashing black women and uplifting white women, and putting black women in positions where they're putting them at risk and destroying their images way back then. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that this was ever going on, even with Malcolm X being a pimp and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't no good his doggone self. So it's just like, I think that, when people talk about like our leaders and things like that, um I don't even, this is just my opinion, people may disagree or whatever, which is fine, but I believe that Martin Luther King did even more harm to the black community than good. I believe that the segregation was much better. Adding
Well, he said.
integration, adding integration
Well, he
even
said
destroyed
that
black
in
people.
his last speech. He
Yeah, but
said
that
that.
he said that after all the damage was done. He said it
Yeah.
after he already destroyed everybody. And I think that the black men's desire for white acceptance, black men's desire to be a part of the same system that dehumanizes them and dehumanizes the women that they come from, is the reason why we're in the position that we're in now. It's the reason why everybody thinks that black men are a joke now. It's the reason why when you get into an argument with a non-black woman, the first thing she say is, yo men like us. They don't like y'all. They think y'all nappy headed. They think y'all this, because these are the things that black men have been spewing out, and they've also shown with their actions for before any of us were born on this panel. So I mean, I don't think that there was ever a time where black women, I will say collectively, have shown repeatedly that they will put the interests of the black community even above their own welfare. But black men
Mhm.
have never done that collectively. Like I said, what they cared about the most was white acceptance. It's just like, I think a perfect example of that. I don't know if you guys ever saw this black guy. He said what happened to him when he was a kid. He was somewhere, I can't remember what happened, but some KKK member, dehumanized him, right? As a child, and made him feel less than. So his whole goal was to get acceptance from these racist white KKK members. So he would go around talking to these white people, trying to get these white men to see his humanity, which is already stupid, and was holding on to these men KKK robes if they decided that they saw his humanity and weren't going to be members in there anymore. Which was insane. His whole life's mission was based on white acceptance. And I remember seeing the little documentary, and I saw when he was talking to black men, the way he talked to them versus the way he talked to white men that hated his guts. It was really insanity.
So
So
was that the news reporter?
no, he wasn't a news reporter. He was just a regular black man.
Oh.
He was like tall, overweight, and he did this documentary where he would go around and try to get KKK members to see his humanity, and he would get their KKK uniforms or whatever if they decided that they weren't going to do it anymore after getting to know him. I forgot his name, but I'm gonna find his name and then I'll give it to you, Aaron. That way you can
Mm-hmm.
see it. But it's actually, if you see it, it's actually depressing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I seen there was this news reporter. Basically he was like he just wanted to have a conversation with them. I don't know about the whole like backstory behind it, but like he wanted to have a conversation with them. They end up having a conversation, and then pretty much I guess the YT guy, whatever, decided not to join the Triple K. I mean, not to be a part of that organization, and he claimed that he got like over 1,000, Triple K members to pretty much like denounce that group or whatever. So I don't know. We could be talking about the same things. Did she leave?
She might be on a call or something. Her phone might picked up. But I just want to add to that. There was
Mm-hmm.
a writer at that time named Ida B. Wells, and
Okay.
she was a very well known. She was a woman, a black woman writer, and she had won a lot of like recognition for her writings and stuff. And do you know that black men were mad because she was
That's
getting
the same
recognition?
person. Yes, that's the
She
same
was
person
getting
we talking about.
recognition for talking about that.
You said what?
Oh yeah, no, you guys. I just put the picture up. That's all. That way that she can see what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
we
man.
talking about the same person. That's the news reporter.
Yeah. But I wouldn't consider him a news reporter. Maybe he is a news reporter, but the reason why he was doing all of this is because he was dehumanized by a person that was a member of the I'll say the Triple K. That's probably better. And his whole idea of his life's mission was to try to get these white people to see his humanity, because he took so much stock into what they thought of him that he needed their validation, which is really pathetic. You know what I'm saying? I never
Yeah.
thought that this was a good story. I thought this was a weak black man, because I'm gonna tell you what, I don't care what a white person has to think or say about me. I could care freaking less. You don't even wash your legs in the shower. What do I look
Oh
like
my
caring about
God.
what you got to say? You know what I'm saying? What do I look like caring about what you got to say? That's just crazy. I'm not caring what nobody got to say, and they don't wash their chicken. You know what I'm saying? They just take it out the pack and just start putting the flour on it. Like, man, be for real. But anyway, yeah, that's all I was saying. But I think Coach She was saying something, so I'm gonna be quiet and let her finish.
Oh no, I was just talking about Ida B. Wells. The reason why I say is like stop listening to men and letting them tell our stories is because it's so deeply ingrained in our culture and in our society. Our history classes, they give us the point of view from what's called the victor. They always give us the point of view from who won or who is perceived to win or who they telling us win, and it's always male but more specifically white male. So when we are hearing these talking points, even when you hear it coming from the mouth of a black woman or a black man, it's from the point of view of a white man. That is a white man's history. You got that from a white man's history, but specifically for black women, even when we're reading history, we have to purposefully seek out stories about black people from the point of view of a black person, but more specifically from the point of view of a black woman. Yes, the man was out there on the tree, but what was the experience of his wife and his kids that was left behind? Like we always identify with the men or identify with the male. And, yeah, welfare took us out the home. That might have been the male's experience and point of view, but that's not really what happened. Like, that's really not what the true experience for the woman was. But there was a writer named Ida B. Wells. She was a black woman writer, and she wrote a lot about what was happening with the ropes and the trees. And black men were getting mad at her because she was getting recognition for writing about their plight. They were getting mad because she was a woman trying to help them write about their plight. And they was getting mad at her because she was getting recognition off of it. Like this stuff is really like we really have to dig into the history, because if we let black men tell it, they did everything they could for the community. They was Panthers, they was Malcolm X, they was Martin Luther King, they was Frederick Douglass and all of this. Okay, but what about the women? But what about black women? What were we doing during that time? How were we being treated? What were our experiences? Like to have to be on a plantation with a man who was being buck broken, or have to be the widow of a man who was in a tree? So that's what I mean when I say start telling our own stories and start honoring that. We dishonor even our own family members when we don't see their experience from their point of view. Everything is about men and how men feel and what they think and what they want. And we never take a moment to consider, like, well, why is the woman always either forgotten or demonized? Why is that? And why do we as women participate and collude and continue to perpetuate these stories? Why do we do that? Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point. And I think also, just from a logical perspective, if you think about the times like during Jim Crow and civil rights, like historically and factually, men commit the majority of all unalivings, of all violent acts, of all forcible rape, 99.1% of it. My thing is that, do you honestly believe that during those times when, nobody cares about black women now, but definitely there weren't even really laws put in place to protect black women at all? You think that black men weren't getting off and taking advantage of that to victimize black women and black girls? Like, I mean, we got to be real here. If they're doing it now, you don't think, and with fully knowing that there are definite consequences behind those type of behaviors, you think that they weren't doing it back then? Huh? I mean, honestly, I remember seeing this on Oprah. This was like years and years and years ago, where people were on this cruise ship. They were on a cruise ship. The ship went down, and it was a whole bunch of women and men in the water, like floating, trying to make it. They said there were some women that had survived, and the women were saying how these weren't black women, though. I think they were like Indian or something like that. But they were talking about how the men were trying to grape the women in the water. Now, keep in mind, they're in the ocean, of thinking that they may not live. And what was on these men's mind was trying to grape the women in what could possibly be their final moments. So women had survived and were telling their story. Women had survived and were telling their stories about what the men were doing. That's beyond freaked out, Miss Chrissy, baby. And so with black women, who are normally, especially in the United States, are always the most, ex-trafficked, the most ex-abused, the most abused, the most unalived, the most that devalued. You think that black men weren't out there devaluing them? You think that when Malcolm X said that the black woman is the most disrespected, it wasn't because he himself had disrespected women? and he had seen it himself. If I'm skipping this because somebody's reporting me, y'all, mystery, it means somebody's reporting me. And let me see if I see any men in the chat. I'll block them. If I see anybody, I'm gonna go ahead and block them. Yep. If you look funny, if you get blocked, you already know why. If you even look like you're a man, I'm blocking you. Sorry, you have to get out. Because I don't got no time for that. But like I was saying, that's what I really would like Black women to understand, that there was no time in history where Black women here in the United States were safe or protected or loved by the collective of Black men. Now, once again, I'm not saying every single solitary Black man at all, but what I'm saying is collectively, it was never happening. It wasn't. And I think that that's where what Coach T said that makes a very good point, is that what you're doing is you're listening to these stories from the perspective of men, from what they said, from what they wrote down. Because they not going to write down, hey, yeah, while we were trying to fight for our rights and Black women were right there behind us, we also were victimizing them. The white T-man was doing it, and so were we. You know, while the white T-man was trying to come and grape Black women and grape the girls and take them somewhere and do stuff to them, we were doing it too, because we knew that nobody cared. There have always been degenerate, disgusting men willing to take advantage of, you know what I'm saying, women. So that's all I'm saying, is that never forget the nature or of the majority of men. There is a reason why the majority of men do the majority of unalivings. It's 90% plus globally of unalivings are committed by men. 99.1% of all forcible rape here in the United States is done by men. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why Black girls and Black women are the most ex-trafficked in the United States. There's a reason why Black women right now in 2025 make up 10% of the female population here in the United States, but yet make up 59 to 60% of all unalivings of women. You think that disrespect, that lack of value and care for the life of a Black woman just started in the 2000s? Like, no. That's something that's been a long, long time coming. I also have a friend that was unalived by her husband. He went to her daycare where she was dropping their kids off with an AR and multiple pew-pews and pew-pewed her up there. She ended up surviving after having multiple surgeries and them taking out a whole lot of her bowels. And eventually she ended up passing due to all the scar tissue around her organs. So, like 3 years later, she was a real close friend of mine. I visited her in a hospital, and, you know, I have a cosmetology license. I used to go up there and do her hair all the time and stuff. So these things are not isolated. These aren't things that you just read on TV. Like, these things really happen. You know, I watched her in the mirror at the hospital open up her nightgown and look at the scar that was going from her chest down to her stomach, where they had to open her chest up, and weep and cry and say, I don't look the same no more. I saw them put one of those mainline vein things in her neck as she wept and was completely terrified, being worked on by a white tea doctor that clearly did not give two fucks about her. Even she was terrified, and all he told her was to calm down, calm down, calm down. And he didn't care. The fact that she was terrified. So, sorry. I've seen a lot, and I just don't want Black women, because sometimes if you're a Black woman that may have good Black men in your life, right? You may have a good Black daddy, or you may have good Black brothers, or you may have a good Black uncle or sons or whatever, or you may even have a good Black man in your life. It's easy to take your experience and not believe the things that other Black women are saying, or not to believe the stats and the historical context of things that you see, and wash that away, you know. But you shouldn't, because there are so many things to prove that these things are really and truly happening. If you get what I'm saying, it's not like this is just my opinion. There are so many places that you can go to research and fact check everything that I'm saying. Like, don't believe me, go look it up yourself after this live is over. Yeah. Does anybody else want to speak? I'll just leave it an open panel if anybody wants to say anything.
I just wanted to say
What's a
one
good
thing.
resource? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just asking what's a good resource.
Let's see. I think if you want to know, well, first, if you want to know about the stats about like black women, the first thing you want to do is like plug in black femicide. And then, once you start getting all the information, something will speak to you about exactly what's intriguing, which is unfortunate for me to use that word intriguing about those numbers. But I think it's intriguing because so many people spend so many time like gaslighting black women about what really happens to us. So it might be some particular figure that piques your interest. And then you could just go down a rabbit hole of looking up that. You know what I'm saying? And I normally just look up uh, I'll look up like ex trafficking numbers for black women or issues that black women have or like numbers, that like statistics that prove black women are in danger. Like I that's normally the type of queries that I've done, but I've been researching this for so many years now that it kind of is second nature, but I'd say that's where you want to start. But I just say this, Aaron, if you start and you start looking, it's kind of like breaking through, what do people call the third veil or whatever. It's like once you get that awareness of what is
Piercing the
actually really,
veil.
you can't, yeah. What did you say, Coach T?
Piercing the veil.
Yeah, piercing the veil. Once you pierce the veil, Aaron, it kind of changes your perspective and how you look at everyone. So if you don't want that type of like awareness, you can't go back. Exactly like Coach T said, you can't go back. So I if you're not ready, and some people aren't ready, you might not want to do it. So but if you're ready, then go ahead. But if you're not, then because it can change your whole perspective. Because I know it changed mine on men, on white people. You know what I'm saying? Once I found out the horrific things, even more so that white people have done specifically to black women, just everything. The things that, because I thought that I didn't know that black men had did black women so dirty until I started researching. I was on the same type of time that you were on.
You
So
said black women did black women dirty?
no, no, no. If I said it, I made a mistake. I said I wasn't aware of how dirty black men did black women, and even how dirty like white people did black women. I wasn't even aware of the depths of how bogus everyone has treated us until I started researching, and it really changed my opinion towards everybody. To be honest with you, so if you're not ready, girl, that's all I can say. Um, Miss Chrissy, baby, you have something to say, sis?
Did I kind of wanted to give a anecdotal situation, because I think in this time period we should, as Black women, build communities of safe spaces for women and girls. Um, I had a niece come with me to work. I'm an air traffic controller, and it was kind of like a banquet situation where people brought their family and stuff. And she kind of walked away, so I went out to go check on her, and she was crying because she was like, "Dang, nobody want to marry us." And I was like, "What? Well, why do you say that?" And she was like, "All of the pilots and air traffic controllers that are Black don't have Black wives, and you're by yourself." And I think sometimes we're, on, our own experiences, and kind of have to remember the observations of younger girls, because it can go either way for her. She can be like, well, maybe the only way I can get attention and love if I over sexualize myself, or I'm just going to be, in college and by myself. Because I think their perspective, especially dark skinned Black girls, it's kind of sad to observe, and a lot of them, just from a few outreach situations I've been in, kind of have the same sentiments. And it's hard to say, well, that's not true, when that's their observation all the time and being thrown in their face. So I think community building with women, Black women, and also keeping an eye on Black girls, because it's tough. And I'm sure all this red pill stuff and all these things online makes it more difficult mentally, because it was already, back in the 90s, there was always, the preferences being all that rubbed in our faces through like maybe media. basketball players, football players, but now everyone is saying you ain't nothing. You're ugly. Nobody's going to marry you. You're just going to be a baby mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got a question for all y'all. So if y'all feel like we was truly protected in the way,
Aaron,
yes,
Aaron, I'm sorry. I just wanted to tell you real quick.
yes,
Ashlyn,
ma'am.
Ashlyn in the comments, she's really good with like stats and data and numbers and stuff like that. And she also put it with like stats and data and numbers and stuff like that. And she also put a resource down there in the comments for you. She
Okay,
said that you should check out violenceproject.com for black
okay,
femicide data.
okay.
Violenceproject.com.
All right, bet. All right, so I got a question for all of y'all. Do y'all feel like things would be a lot better for the black community if like black men did protect us in the way that white men protected their wives?
I think so. I think so. I mean, I said this before. I don't know if anybody agree with me or not, but I was
Mm-hmm.
saying that like white men, like if they see something going on, even though they may mistreat their women, right? Because I'm not saying that white women have it great and that white men don't beat the brakes off of them and exploit them
Facts.
and do things to them, because they do, right? So I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not here to come from a like a white men are perfect or anything like that. But I will say that if somebody else from the outside is coming to try to do something, they not gonna let them do it. And nor do they go out in the world and talk about white women in the way that black men do black women. They, if they see a black man doing something to a white woman, they gonna go over there and do something about it. They not gonna be like, oh, I can't do it, or oh, they gonna do something, and consequences be damned. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that they do better. And for the people that will say, well, the black man, he's scared, he's scared, he's scared. Well, okay, well then why are all these black men quick to unalive each other? You ain't scared to unalive somebody that look like you. So why you scared to stand up for yourself against somebody that hates your very existence? You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think that it would be better if black men behaved more in a protective role, but I don't think that's gonna happen though. But I think that they should. But once again, I'm not a person that's going to what's it called, deify white men, because they have their own problems. They be family annihilators. They be abusing their women and doing a whole lot of things. They already said that when it comes to domestic violence with white T women, they're less likely to tell. So it's a lot of white women that are getting abused that don't say nothing. Not to mention that I know several black women that have been with white T men specifically that have talked about being called the N word with the hard R and a whole lot of other things. So I'm not here to say that they're perfect, but they do certain things that I feel like they do better than black men. Now not adding the nuance of there may be reasons why, but nonetheless, they stand on business way, way more than black men do.
Okay, I can accept that.
I think Gabrielle has something to say. You have something to say, Gabrielle?
Yeah, I just want to say, this is just my opinion, but whenever people start talking about men collectively protecting women, there's just a part of me that's a little leery about that, just because historically, like, men's quote unquote protection has always come with like certain strings attached. And like, I'm not saying like on an individual level, like if you're a woman and you have a husband who protects you, looks out for you, that's great. I'm not talking about that, but I'm just speaking collectively, like the question about like, oh, would BW be better if BW, I'm sorry, if BM protected BW the same way that, WM protects WW. And like, I don't know, because a lot of times, like, the protection, quote unquote, that men provided comes with, like women not having rights, women not being able to make.
No, okay, Gabrielle. I'm sorry to interject. I just wanted to say this because maybe I want to clarify what I was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you an instance. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that situation of the white girl that was acting crazy in the Victoria's Secret, and she was laying on the floor and rolling around and acting a doggone fool. And when the white security guards came, they automatically catered to the white woman. So I believe that a lot of white T men's protection towards white T women is rooted in their protection and valuing of white life above everybody else. But nonetheless, that's still something that they have over black men, because black men collectively do not uplift black life over everybody. So it's not like, oh, one band, one sound when it comes to that. I'm not saying that white T men are not doing things to white T women. You know what I'm saying? At all. But when it comes to that open protection, like out in public, especially if it's somebody of another race, they will step in and do that. Now, is it rooted in probably the bad, is the intentions or the reason behind it is probably not the best, but nonetheless, it's still happening. Hopefully that makes sense.
So
Yeah,
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 because
yeah.
basic. Oh, go ahead.
No. Yeah, I was just saying, like, yeah, no, I get like what you're saying triggered. I totally I totally understand what you're saying. It's just that like I've noticed like, and I don't, so I'm not really disagreeing with you a lot, but it's just that like in the manosphere, I will see men of all races in there, like dogpiling on women, like whether, and a lot of times like you'll see BLK men in there, and then you'll have WM men cheering them on, and vice versa. So I mean. But I mean, I do know what you're saying, because I did see that video of the Victoria's Secret. That woman was like rolling around on the floor, and then yeah, so I do know what you're talking about. But I
Yeah,
just
but
do.
see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, see the white men that are in red pill spaces, right? Because I'm
Yeah,
in a lot of red pill spaces with white men.
yeah,
Them bumping their gums that they're irritated and upset at white women because maybe white women don't like them or they not doing what they say is different than the face that they put on in the world. They may say those things, but in action, they won't let it happen. They not gonna let no black man do nothing crazy to no white woman in front of them. They're not gonna let it. It's not going to happen.
Well, you
Some
seen
way,
that.
shape, form, or fashion is going to be intervened on. Now, whether they maybe if they're scared of that black man, they call the police, or if they don't, they'll jump them and do something. But something's going to happen. However, I don't have that same thing that white men could be out there doing something to a black woman, and a black man gonna be like, stop that, stop that. Now, I'm not saying it won't be any black men that'll stand up, but I believe the majority of black men will turn a blind eye or be too afraid to say something.
Well,
You know
yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
because like
saying?
if you look at the case where that young boy, he was only 10 years old, he was strange fruited, because of a lie that this 14-year-old YT thought said. I'm gonna call her a thought. I don't care. She a hoe. So pretty much, she got mad because his sister's dress was prettier than hers. They were middle class people. They looked really nice. They of course stuck out like a sore thumb because they didn't look like your average black person. They look nice. And and when she lied and said that he raped her, them YT men, they didn't care if that was their daughter, their sister, their friend. They didn't even know that little girl. They just came, didn't know the story, didn't care. They just came and got rid of that little boy. And then when she was having dementia, and when she was in a nursing home, you know, the fruits of her labor had to come and collect, because what she did was pretty much the crows came to, what is this saying called, when the
they came to
crows
collect, or
come home to cluck or whatever. Anyway, basically her karma had to come back and stare at her face, and as she's unaliving in her bed, like in that moment, she was scared, screaming to the top of her lungs, saying that she saw that little boy in the corner standing in her room. Yeah, the
I
crows come
remember
home
that.
to roost.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
thank
remember
you.
that story. I heard that too.
Mm-hmm. That's
But
why I
the
said. That's why I said. Me and my sister, after we heard that Carolyn Bryan had lied on Emmett Till, everybody knew she lied, duh. But when she admitted it like it was nothing, I was like, I hope he freaking whistles in your ear tonight, ho.
yeah, I mean, I agree. But I'm sorry, I interject. We interjected on Gabrielle. Did you have something else to say, sis? I'm sorry, I interjected.
yeah,
I'll let you
no,
finish.
no, because I do understand. I do get that there the whole protection thing. I guess it just have does have different layers. So I'm not discounting your point at all. I guess for me, I'm just always leery when I hear protection, because I feel like there's always a big asterisk next to that. Like for me, I don't want like I'm trying to think of a way to put it. Like I do, like I said, I do think individually for women, if you have men in your life, BM whatever a man that is for you, that's great. But I it might just be because I've just been in so many red pill spaces, and I just hear that word protection. It just always seems like there are things that come along through, or let me put it this way: the protection a lot of times it's not rooted because those men truly see that woman as a sovereign, humane person worthy of like agency and autonomy. Like they look at this more of like, oh, I'm protecting my asset, or I'm protecting this thing that is going to produce for me, versus like really protecting for the right reasons. I guess that's more of what I was trying to say. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
Oh no, that makes sense to me too. I totally get what you're saying. But I'm saying that even in that vein, which I'm not saying you're wrong, but black men don't even do that. They
yeah.
don't even look at protecting because black women are black men's main supporters,
Yeah,
main
no, you're right.
uplifters, and they
Yeah,
don't
I
even
don't
see fit to do it even because of that.
yeah, I mean, like I said earlier in the live, I don't deal with BM period, but I do get what you're saying. Like I definitely understand the spirit of like what you're saying. Like even if the protection isn't rooted in the right reasons, like just from a general level, like there is certain protection that they're not, doing period. So I do get what you're saying. Yeah.
But okay, you guys, I'm going to end this live, but I'm gonna let everybody speak again before I get out of here. I'm gonna start at the top and then I work to the bottom. Did you have anything to say, Miss Chrissy, baby?
No, thank you for having me up here. I appreciate you centering women in this space. I never come into panels because most times, the guys are in the comments, and so I really feel comfortable here. To answer Aaron's question, it's in the court documents, and I mean it's very controversial, and I think this kind of speaks to what Trigger was saying earlier in this live. Like we do protect them, and we could say so much worse, and it wouldn't be lies; it would be the truth. But in the court documents, Emmett kind of just was easily handed over to them. I'll just put it like that, by his male family members.
Yeah.
And it sucks to say that because the story is horrific, but again, we still kind of have like that humanity for our counterparts to not tell the truth of what really happened. And I think that's probably part of the problem of their entitlement, but that's a fact. It's in the court documents. They pretty much was like, oh, here he is. And they took him away. You know what I mean? And I get it. People can have the argument that they were afraid. They were probably afraid of getting, what's the word? I don't even know how to say it because it's TikTok.
Unalived?
Yeah, unalived, too. But some things are worth being unalive, no? Like if, I don't know. So,
No, I understand.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm trying to
cause
say?
like to be honest, cause like if somebody come, like I'm sorry, you gonna have to unalive the whole house to get my kid. Like that's just me.
So I do think that, and even telling the truth about what happened during our enslavement probably be really uncomfortable conversations, but it would be the truth. You know what I mean? Even talking about the backstory of Harriet Tubman and how her husband ran first, didn't come back and abandon her and remarried. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're being slandered about our appearance, our stereotypical like personality traits, phenotypes, and just focusing on the Krishans or whatever of the world. But our truths would sound almost horrible. And I think sometimes as Black women, we do coddle and protect egos, sometimes to our detriment. And anyway, thanks for having me up. I'm sorry for crying earlier. And okay, bye.
Oh no, don't say sorry at all. I think that there's nothing wrong with expressing your emotions and stuff like that. And I think that what you said and your expressions of your emotions was powerful. And I think that it can speak to somebody that hears it, Miss Chrissy baby. So don't apologize for that. Never apologize for that, sis.
I thought you were gonna bring up like Emmett Till's dad and stuff.
He came from Chicago, so he was down there with his other family members, but his uncles, multiple of them, pretty much walked him outside to the people that
Well,
unalived him.
his dad had already passed.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't his dad. It was his uncles is what I'm saying.
Right. His dad was unalive before they even happened. Because it's unfortunate. The only reason why they found out his dad was unalive was because of Emmett Till's unalivement, which is crazy to me. But no, they had actually talked about how like his dad used to like beat on his mom and all this other crazy stuff.
All right, let me go up here to Supervillain. Hey, sis.
Chick, you don't always have to leave the live with telling Black women how much they are loved, and if they feel that little piece of love in their heart, that's coming from me. Black women, just relish in your humanity. Again, we show up, we're deemed subhuman, and then when we show out, because Black women know how to show out, we're deemed superhuman, but we need to relish in our humanity. We're no different from anyone else. And in a world where white proximity is currency, we are the farthest from white proximity, and we like it that way, right? We're not changing anything about us. I love everything about a Black woman, from the way she walks, talks, smells, sings, everything she do. I just want Black women to know, if somebody loves you out there, it's definitely me. I'm gonna really speak to the Emmett Till part of the story, and of course, what happened to him was dangerous. But in spaces like this, please acknowledge that the mother was the strongest person in that story. The same stereotypical attitudes that they hate about us is the strength and the stereotypical attitude that she used to hold an open casket to see the horrors of what these white people did to her child. So again, which was the point of the live, we have all these stereotypes holding up against us, but it's that same stereotypes is what they use when they need labor. It's that same stereotypes that is what Black women use to be political advocates and to make change. So just bringing it back to the point of the live, Black women, I love you. Y'all tap it up, please. Let's get her to where she deserves. Trick does a lot of work. This is very difficult. Let's show her a little bit of appreciation. Have a good day, Trick. Thank you. I yield.
All right, thank you so much, sis. It's always good to hear from you and your perspective, for sure. And I love you too, sis. Really, I really enjoy your commentary, and also Miss Chrissy Baby as well. And I think that was so brave what Miss Chrissy Baby did, like, today in speaking. I really admire that. And also Miss Coach T as well, that dropped a million and one gems today. For sure. Let me go up here to Aaron.
Hello.
Yeah, did you have anything to say, sis, before we get out of here?
No, I said what I need to say.
All right, sis.
Yeah, thank you for having me up here.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I hope I get a chance to talk to you again, Aaron. All right, let me go down here to Miss Gabrielle.
Yeah, hey Trigger, thank you again for holding the live. I just want to close out by saying that like everything we talked about in the live with like the stats you were talking about, Triggered, especially I think all of that is, indicative of the fact that like men genuinely do not deserve our labor as BW. Like I don't think, they deserve us, making sacrifices for them, marching on the streets for them, because they have shown today and throughout history that is not at all reciprocated. Like they've continuously and constantly shown that. But again, thank you for holding this live. And did you say you were going to be coming on again later today, or did I hear that right?
I might come on later today, but if I don't, it'll be tomorrow. Because sometimes I say I'm gonna come back and then I get caught up with the kids and stuff like that, or I'm doing something, or I'm playing around, and then it's just like then I don't even do it. So it's like I don't want to say for sure, but yeah. But I just want to say also, Gabrielle, I appreciate everything that you said, and I did understand your perspective on what you was talking about the red pill spaces and protection too. Like I totally get what you're saying. I understand where you were coming from too. So I didn't want you to think that like I disagree with what you were saying. I understood exactly what you were saying.
Oh yeah. Thank you. It's always great to be able to catch a live. I will just like go on TikTok sometimes and just check to see, because I don't get the notifications even though I follow you. So, but yeah, thank you again.
No problem, girl. I'm shadow banned. They hate me on here. Oh my goodness, they do, and it's crazy because I used to get a lot of views. You know what I'm saying? And then the views started going back up again. But then the guys, I don't know what it is. Like a lot of people hate me, and I'm not even a big creator. I don't know why people hate me so much, but they start like reporting. Then they report all my videos, and then I noticed that then the views went back down again, because they had went back up and then they went back down again. Like when I first started doing lives and stuff, I used to have like sometimes it'd be like 200, 300 people in. It was like one time I was talking about, dang, what was it? I don't even remember, but it was like 2,000 people. And then people kept reporting, and then my views just went down in the tanker. So it's just like, it's always been like that. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what it is about my voice particularly that makes people so upset. I don't know. I don't know. But like, even with the creator fund, like a long time ago back in the day, I had got, they told me that they were going to let me be in a creator fund, and then they told me that they decided not to. And that's the reason why I stopped putting videos even up on my TikTok. I just stopped putting them up at all. That's why I only put them on my YouTube. Like, I only put them on my YouTube, you know what I'm saying now, because TikTok just really pissed me off. So it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I've always had people that just like really hated on me like big time. So I don't know. Let's see, y'all. Thanks so much, Mystery. Thanks so much, Miss Chrissy, baby. I try to you know what I'm saying, center black women and stuff, y'all. But okay, well, anyway, I'll see y'all later. I love y'all, and I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all weekend. And if I can come back later today, I will. If I do, I'm gonna come back with all of those stats about black men. If not, I'll come out tomorrow. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.